overall market, however, yeah, still kind of chopping around, just hanging out within the range that we've been in for the past week or so. That being said, a ton to look at this afternoon as far as earnings to come after the close tonight. We get Airbnb, we get Rivian. There's a ton. Affirm, Upstart, Twilio, as the guys were talking about. We'll go over some of those as the afternoon goes on. Here's how things are shaping up right now, however, as far as the futures are concerned. 0.29 for the S&P, 0.1 for the Dow, about 0.5% for the NASDAQ, 0.21 for the TSX here in Toronto. Positive for crude oil, positive for both Bitcoin and Ethereum. Pretty quiet day overall for cryptos, it's worth mentioning. Not really doing much around that break-even point. Typical for an earnings kind of a board to show you here. 0.21 in negative territory for the S&P, but all the big names here definitely coming off earnings, including PayPal. Obviously 11.75% to the downside. Skyworks down here, SWKS, putting pressure on pretty much all of the semiconductors this afternoon. MPWR, Enphase, ON, to name a few, all 3 to 5% negative territory, but 6 there for SWKS. DVA, MCK, both had earnings as well. BAX as well, 4.8 downside. WAT, 8% downside off of their report, missing expectations. The forecast a problem as well. ALB, 5.8%, 7.3 here for IFF, also off of earnings, but just, as I said, 0.2 there for the S&P 500. So not a heck of a lot to look at as far as movement on the overall market. As I mentioned, though, we will get into what is coming up after the close tonight, because there is a long list of companies that are reporting tonight. As I mentioned, Airbnb, Rivian, Oxy, Affirm, Upstart, Twilio, EA, to name a few. Dutch Bros, the coffee company, coming through with earnings. Clover, there's Blink, Space, Virgin as well, going to come through with their latest report. So definitely a few things to discuss as we head through the afternoon here, including what we were talking about if you were with us this morning early on. PayPal was top of the list this morning. That's Bitcoin. As I mentioned, not really doing much, just kind of chopping around at the bottom end of the range after that huge red candle yesterday. Here's Ethereum, same story. Downside ahead of CPI data to come tomorrow. Frank Caberna coming up this afternoon as well. We'll get his opinion on how important that's going to be for the overall market. And I'm speaking of CPI. So we'll get Frank on here coming up in about 45 minutes. We'll talk about inflation in general, because there's a couple of different ways we can approach that trade going into tomorrow. He wants to talk about some yield action ahead of that, some DXY action ahead of that, so stay tuned for that. Let's talk PayPal, though, guys. It was ugly, to say the least, coming off of this forecast and the margin outlook for the full year 2023, which was a big problem for PayPal, but pressuring all of these, as we saw in the banking sector there.
Things are getting better for me, though. My Bluetooth connected over here.
What?
Okay.
Like, it's weird. We have earpieces on. See, that we have to wear those so we know when to throw to Brendan. At least sometimes we know when to.
We get the script. We get the trades in our ear, like what to do and everything.
Wouldn't that be nice? Just a little God mode in your ear. But every single time we start the show, I always have to reconnect the Bluetooth. On my phone, my Bluetooth headset, I plug it in, it always automatically connects. I have no idea why the ones that we use twice a day, we're having to reconnect them. There's something we're doing wrong with those. But there was one problem, and only one problem alone, with PayPal. I think it's everybody's frustration. It took out all the key levels in the pre-market.
Yeah.
So, like we were saying, if BABA had broken 80, it would have been better because it would have done so in the open market. But PayPal, it was the flat bottom breaker. Oh yeah, that's right. How quickly can I make this pivot? Let's go PYPL. And this is how fast I'm just going to show you the flat bottom on the daily this way. So there's my trade ideas chart. There's quickly flipping it over. That's 71, multi-month low at 71 even, with room to this level right here, right now. That was actually 67.5. But yeah, big mover to the downside. And it broke that flat bottom at approximately 7:40, I don't know, let me go to the 3 minutes, see a little bit better. It doesn't really matter when it broke it. It broke down at 7:54. It then reloaded it just after 8 o'clock. And it broke 70 even before the open. It kind of hit that again at the open, and then it was just right into the bottom. I actually covered in front of that sort of 68 level, and it's frustrating because pre-market trading is pre-market trading. You're never going to really, well, at least most people aren't going to put as much risk on. I don't think you should, but as you would in a normal market. So that breakdown, had it happened at the open, maybe it's not as good. I don't know, but PayPal down 12%. SSR be darned, it just never stopped. It's been only flushing, and now I don't really see it trade anymore. Like, you can see it kind of going flat for the entire afternoon, but wow. They didn't like the earnings there, but it wasn't even that bad. It was more the guide than anything else. They are losing some market share. Competition is creeping in, and obviously when Apple basically becomes a bank and keeps everyone in their ecosystem, this is not going to be good for PayPal. We were joking, like, who uses PayPal? I looked it up. I've used PayPal this year. I used it back in February, and oddly enough, it was to make a Princess Margaret, it's like a local hospital donation. I'm not even sure why I'm still using PayPal to do that, to be honest with you. I don't have to. And maybe that's everyone's experience. Like, it was big during the pandemic, and it's just not as big of a thing anymore. Like, I haven't logged in to see what is it that I'm using it for that's kind of auto-recurring that I have no need to be doing, and that's probably the only reason it's still a thing for me.
I like it because, I mean, at least you don't give out your credit card information and things like that. But with Apple Pay, you don't either, and I use Apple Pay all the time. So I don't know. I agree with you. I'm not sure where PayPal is. But at the same time, if you were part of Sticky Note Nation, you got that today as well. It's all over I gave you the price 67. We got the same trade Neil did. Well, Neil was earlier, but we had it right there at 70. It filled down, and we got out, and that was the end of that one. So PayPal's a great trade for me today, and I think it continues to work to the short side, unfortunately, as it's starting to break through some of those daily numbers. So I still feel like PayPal does have some more damage control on that downside. So just watch out for that. I would not get back long into PayPal until at least the second or third day. So wait for tomorrow, could flush again, and then third day, maybe you can find a bottom. That's a generic kind of rule that I try to follow with my investing into names that miss or beat. Wait to see what happens a couple days after. Let the options settle down. Let people get comfortable with the report, see some upgrades and downgrades, and then try to review from there. But I don't think anybody's going to be upgrading PayPal anytime soon.
Just seeing a big move here for DoorDash right now, guys, on decent volume as well. Still not seeing anything as far as why, but huge volume just came into DoorDash. It ran up $2, now up 3%. Maybe just took out that high, possibly, but not seeing anything yet, but I'll keep an eye out here for what's happening there. Let's talk about Lucid. There's all these EV names on watch this morning coming off of earnings. Lucid, Fisker, all downside. It was even, I had noticed, pressuring Nikola. I know Neil loves so much when I talk about Nikola. Was down a little bit, but here we go. Lucid down on, I mean, everything was a problem here. Revenue missed, forecast was a problem. They cut their production forecast for the remainder of the year as well.
Yeah, and we talked with this off camera. They got to kind of decide who they're going to be. Are they going to compete with Ferrari? Or are they going to compete with Tesla? Because this in-between look, kind of hard to justify at the moment because of the price.
Still checking for DoorDash, guys. Not seeing anything, but just kind of hanging out near the highs here.
Before we go to, well, obviously we're going to talk about Lucid, but just I want to show something on DoorDash level 2 here. So it's trading 68.70. Here is 68.50. That is one order for 400,000 shares on BAT. This stock hasn't even done 4 million. That is a chunk. Like, that's over 10. Like, that's a significant level on a stock. It's not doing 10, 20 million shares. So it's already moved to the upside. I don't know if there's news, but there's a big buyer right here at 68.50. They've parked it. I've seen it come within 10 cents of that price, and they haven't moved the order. Whether or not they take a fill there, it's a large size order relative to what the volume is doing. So it might actually hold up here if that sticks around. Let's fast forward, not really fast forward. Let's just move on to Lucid.
Flash forward.
I don't even know where I was going with that. It doesn't matter. DoorDash. I guess I wanted to do something with Flash in my head, and it just didn't work out. Lucid. I did wait for the pop to go short. It was just not that great. I mean, it curled. And then the second curl, I couldn't get more shares because it was short sell restricted. At the open, it hit SSR down 10%. So as it was coming down, it's a little trickier to grab the short. It popped off VWAP. I shorted VWAP, only to get stopped out, and then didn't short it when it got back to the high of the day. So I should be in this at 25. I suppose I will be if it takes a third crack at that level. But sometimes you do that. Like, you take that lower high short trade and then stop it out. And the thing about, like, I don't mind that trade because if it goes trend down the rest of the day, there's plenty of reward left in there. Like, you risk 10 to 15 cents. I mean, the low of the day is 30 cents lower. It's not like you're getting out on the way there. You should be doing better than 1-to-1 when that works. It's just more that I missed out at the top end. A lot of times you take a hit, get up, like take a walk, or like it's that time of the day where maybe you're not as attentive to some of the names, to as many names, and I missed my reload opportunity on Lucid. If it comes again, I might take a shot at it. But I'll be tracking that DoorDash order. It's kind of interesting. I'd like to see if that guy takes the fill there for that order at the 50 level on Dash.
The market is starting to go back to the upside here, so we may get stopped out of our Microsoft. But for me, this is fine, really. It's going to be 30 cents worth of a hit. So just comes right in. It looks like we're going to try to turn green. We're short right now at 0.01s. So here it comes back in. So, it just dipped down into 80 there. I was like, nah, I don't want to take it. Like, we were 20 cents in the money. Now we're going to be 30 cents. Well, we're going to lose 30 cents on this. So we didn't get 1-to-1 there. It was pretty close. Let's see if it can come back down in, pull down into O's, and then hopefully a move downside. But Microsoft is getting close to getting taken out right now, and I'm monitoring this stop order here. So we're going to see. My theory is, Neil, I don't think it works on New York names.
Stop?
Yeah,
that's
going to be my theory because
okay,
didn't work on Palantir and didn't work on something else. Wait a second. Shit.
Well, I can add that to the ticket.
No, I don't think that's right because it's not right. Because it didn't work on Win either.
So just for everybody, there's like, if there's an issue within the system, like stop or whatever it might be, like we can put a ticket into the back office so we can fix it.
And we could be wrong. It could be working right and I have it set up wrong.
Well, I always acknowledge, like, maybe it's a keystroke, but I don't think it's working properly. So we put a ticket in the back office so they can fix it, and then the next release, something gets fixed. It's a platform at Day Trade the World for traders by traders, so it's our input that improves it. So the second Sean said that, I made a mental note that we need to change the ticket, maybe saying that it's an issue on New York stocks, but it doesn't matter. We have two other stops. We have two other stops that we can use. I had just gotten really accustomed to that new one because it was pretty convenient.
I like it.
I like it too, but if it doesn't want to work, then it is what it is. And
I mean, Alibaba could be a short. Okay. I'm not going to go short Alibaba and being short. I mean, here's Alibaba. It's 82.50. It's all the way up here again. Alibaba 82.30. Its high was 82.40 right there.
Low.
Just coming into play there. Yeah, yesterday. Well, right into there. Yeah, 82.50 was the level I was looking at. So yes, right into there for Alibaba. Huge move to the upside, but again, like, shorting names. If you shorted Meta, that would have been a problem today. Apparently shorting Microsoft at this level is a problem as well. So we'll wait to see. The NASDAQ trying to get back to Greensville? I don't think so. We're right at some levels right now. We just upticked. We trying to get to 13. My problem is 13,300 is right here. So you're an earshot away from 13.3. And if it gets to that, then I feel like the market goes up and we could make a run at that 13,350 again that we stopped off yesterday. And that goes back to beginning of April, 13,350. So that's an interesting level as well. But Alibaba could be a short up here. All right, let's go over. I know we have Frank coming soon. So did we talk about Lucid yet?
I mentioned Lucid. I don't really.
Okay, all right. Let's go talk about Palantir.
Yeah, let's go to Palantir.
Best day potentially coming here for PLTR in 3 years after this report beats right across the board. They even forecast profitable quarters to come the remainder of the year. Holding up here very nicely, although we haven't got to that high from aftermarket yet.
No, not quite. We knocked on the door at $10 yesterday, but it was a beat all around today. Looks like, they use all the right trigger words. AI was mentioned in there. They have their own model that they're going to be able to kind of commodify out to commercial companies, and their commercial growth grew year over year. So good luck.
Pretty impressive once it took back that pre-market support area before the open. We got back above that, and then nothing but upside, guys. But yeah, $10 staring us in the face up here.
Yeah, I was trying to go short here at 950. We did give some money back there on these short plays. But, I mean, they were printing okay until we broke through 960. But ultimately, the story today was the long. And I know there's a lot of traders behind us that really banked on this as well. And, again, just for myself, it's about not being disciplined. We could talk about the numbers. Brennan and Sharif kind of just went over them. I love the fact that they're going to be hopefully gap positive, turn out some profits on EBITDA for everybody. show a good quarter moving forward. They have some great contracts that are just free money for them because they've already built the software. They talked about their AI going to be working out for businesses, and consumers is a consumer model as well being worked on. So I like Palantir, and I think that all the data that they have, it must be huge right now. CIA, FBI, not making this up. Like, these are who their customers are. And they're a 25-year-old company. So the data that they would have on immigration, defense, everything, military spending.
Everybody.
Literally everything. They're the right name, and they're in the right space to create some interest. So 22%, I feel like that was a move that a lot of traders were anticipating. We talked about it yesterday on the daily chart that we'd have to get above right here. So I don't want to do that because that's not going to work. That we'd have to get above this $11 before we really got excited, because we've seen this before. We see it right here back in February. So we had a nice move up, and then it just went all the way back down. And it's just too bad that it's basically the same price again. We never got to $10 today. We only got to $9.60. Day's still young. I think we could take that out, especially with an aggressive move here in the market. But that's the highs we got, 1032. I'm just nervous because it's these highs right there that we got to back in August, 1140. There's that 1032. We got to take that out, then hang around 11 for a bit, and then I think it's upside from there. But I've been putting new, so I still have old money, but we put new money to work in between 7 and 8. So that's the problem. Do you want to sell now? Even though you have a 22% move upside, probably worth taking something out. But I just feel like the potential's here for Palantir. And if they can deliver quarter after quarter, maybe we do have a good little run here for Palantir back to 11. Time will tell.
Yeah, leave Sean's chart up for just for a second. There you go. So I don't know, man. Both moving averages broken back out. It's just it's kind of finally breaking back out. You kind of on earnings, if they're making money again. And they're looking for full year profitability. That's kind of what you're looking for in a growth-ish type name. So it looks pretty bullish from here. I think you look for the long the next couple of days if it holds support. I wanted to sort of stay on that chart because I did go into this DoorDash, and that order, the guy started taking, I shouldn't say that, the buyer at 68.50 started getting filled, and that's a real order. So like, there's no pulling. It didn't get pulled. It didn't get moved. Nothing. They just stood the line there. They took about 15,000 shares in the bid. You can see there's some scalping to go on now. Like, people are just going in front. I kind of had some long there above. I had like 60s, and then I finally took some 53s and 52s down there, and I've already scalped some out. So I'm going to try and rinse and repeat 52, 53. If that level goes, I'm out. And hopefully, if it makes another break to the top, I can try and hold some. We don't really see any news here or anything that's crazy going on here with DoorDash, but saw it gap up, then see this buyer. As long as it holds, I'll take my shot. Really, if there's no slippage, I risk 5 cents. I can always hit that order as it goes as well, and maybe not even rely on a stop. But yeah, DoorDash, Brennan brought this one to us. I actually haven't traded Palantir today, believe it or not, and I said I probably wouldn't, because the last 2 times, I want to say the last 2 times I traded Palantir earnings, I lost. It wasn't the last 2 earnings, but it's the last time I traded Palantir earnings twice. I know I lost both those times, so I stayed away from it today.
All right, let's go on to Fisker here, the other EV name we were talking about. Yeah, it's 6.5% still in negative territory, but this chart actually pretty constructive, maybe overdone a little bit here in the pre-market, all the way down to 550 at the bottom there, which corresponds with some levels on the daily chart. It was all about the production numbers that came through from Fisker. They cut those again, 32,000 to 36 in the full year 2023. That was down from 42,400 cars. So kind of sums it up, unfortunately, for FSR.
Yeah, sadly, this is one of those legacy names too. This has been around since 2012, one of the OGs. It was down a lot worse, Brendo. It was down to that 550 level, bouncing off that. But yeah, this one, I guess the only saving grace here is that they're about to launch their Ocean into the U.S. market.
Yeah, it'll be good to see. We saw that last week when the first one was delivered right across the board. But constructive maybe here as far as the chart is concerned, guys. It
was a dead cat bounce, and it certainly made a good bounce. Just to watch out that dash Let me just, if it pops there, I want to get some more out on the next pop. So I'm kind of rinsing and repeating. It's really like 10 to 15 cents worth of a move. I need to get more than that. I took one shot on Fisker, and unlike Lucid, it just only went to the upside. I wasn't nearly patient enough. I waited for it to get into that 6 area and was taking it 6 into about that 625. I ended up with the price I wanted. I ended up with the stop I wanted. It just was not really the turn. So we were one and done. Maybe 650 should have been something. By that time, I got away from it, and it made the retrace back into 6. So good reception, I would say, for Fisker. And remember, this one is 30-something% short. It was 38%. Lucid was 20. This one's 38% short, and that can be something. So I was patient, but not patient enough in terms of getting that short. A lot of times you want to wait for the curl. I said it again, like I waited for Lucid to actually make a top and got in each time on the way back down. This one, I got in on the front end. Typically speaking, you have to be so right. If you get in on like a squeeze play that's going parabolic up, you got to be dead on with your level. It just has to really work out at that price level. So you want it to be huge, like I don't know, HKD at 2,500. I'm joking when I say that, but nothing came to mind. Like 100 on Tesla or 250 level, something really obvious, or just allow it to make the wick high and take your entry on the back end. It's an easy thing to say, but when you believe a stock should be coming down after a squeeze, you get FOMO and you don't want to miss the short. It happens all the time. It's the same thing with long. The stock's dipping, you're like, it's a bounce, it's a bounce. You get in too early, you get in the front end instead of the back end. Everybody's done it at least a couple times. I did it here on Fisker. If I had taken the risk from Fisker and put it into Lucid with the patience, it would have been better off. So maybe it was the thing where I should have just only traded one of them. I think it's easier for me to say, if I only trade one of them, it's better off, but that could be a cop-out.
What was that one stock we talked about going? Oh, it was BABA. I was going to say back to yesterday's low.
82.50.
So, yeah, so that's right here for Lucid too. I'll probably, because nothing's working for me right now. Microsoft, looks like we're going to take a 25 cent hit on Microsoft in a couple of seconds here, as it's trying to go higher as well. But right there, so it came up. This is Lucid, of course. Lucid came right up to that yesterday bottom of $7.30. And yeah, the rest, as they say here, is history. Hits it, drops down. It only dropped down 30 cents, bouncing off 7 again. So again, big move down off, that's their earnings, that's yesterday. And then this morning, we had that, we were sort of respecting those bottoms in the pre-market of 7, and then we took off, came back into 7, filled it, and took off again. So this is actually looking like a candidate to possibly break longer now off that $7 bottom. So this is not a name where I don't think, I have to get out a little bit of Microsoft here because it just came back in for me. So this 725 or so, I don't think this is a name that you want to scalp. I feel like if it does break this 730, you could get a nice little profit take up into here. So let's see what happens on 730 for Lucid. Surprised it's not down a little bit more, but hey, that could have been a flushed out bottom. There's a lot of volume there right off the open. It's just a 5-minute candle. So, you know, good move straight to the upside there. Well respected that top and fell back in. Made that bottom, did not, started to make, again, higher lows, which seems to be pretty good. We don't retest that 7, so now we watch out for 7.25 here on Lucid.
Just seeing a few more comments coming through from Feds Williams currently, so just be aware as far as the overall market is concerned, but it's not really causing too much of a reaction at this point for futures. Anyways, let's wrap things up with this. Tomorrow going to be a big day. We were wondering if today was going to be a big day as well. Google reverses that early strength that we saw. But yeah, the I.O. event coming tomorrow. We learned after the close yesterday there's a ton of AI updates they're going to provide. There's a ton of new products coming as well. We get the Pixel 7a, we get the Pixel Fold, I guess it's going to be called, and a tablet as well. So yeah, I mean, everything that this thing gained today has been given back and then some, right back to day lows.
I'm going to tell you, I think if Apple made a flip iPhone, I'd consider getting that. I don't think it's gimmicky. I know you don't like it, but Brendo's giving me the look. But yeah, in all seriousness, guys, this one, we're talking about Google. They released a new LLM today by the name of Palm 2, so we'll be seeing how that's going to be instituted. I'm going to be all ears tomorrow for the event.
I mean, the ones that open this way versus, you know, like I don't know. They're just too big, I think, guys. Are you fold device kind of guys?
Second.
Yeah.
Why does it
I
matter?
want more screen. I
Yeah.
want more screen.
I got my hand on the. It was Ryan. He's a manager of one of the day trader offices locally. He came by and he visited the floor, and
Yeah,
he had
the
the
Samsung
Samsung one.
Yep.
And I had my hands on. I'm like, this is pretty cool. I'd be all for it. You know what Apple's gonna do? Apple's gonna wait until there's a few of these out, and they're like, okay, we'll come after, and then make sure we make it better. But what difference does it make which direction it folds? I mean, does it matter? Why would it
I would
matter?
assume it has you turn the monitor screen, just like your phone. You can
That's
put
what
it
I'm
in
saying, like-
to landscape. Well, Brendan's fancy.
Here's the thing. I am the only person on the
Ooh,
planet
thank
that still
you,
has
Rob.
one of these, so I care which direction. But who cares what direction?
Did you test every key one by one?
100% with an online
This guy, when he came with 15 keyboards, I was like,
Rob tested this with an online keyboard test.
he's the hero that we
Mark
need.
tested it.
That's
Wow.
the hero we need, but don't deserve.
This
man.
is he is the what do they call where it's like the
unsung hero.
unsung hero, Mr. Rob.
Dude, it's
Thank
like
you so
it's
much
like
for
he
that
just
one.
comes running out of nowhere.
It even smells like all Lysol-y and everything. This is great.
Yo, that's clean too.
Yes.
I took it apart.
Well, actually, it's for that other spot over there.
A bucket of water, hot water, and I took all the keys
Bucket of hot water. He's explaining.
Took
everything.
all the keys apart.
See what happens? Is this why?
individually washed.
All right. I'm going to throw more stuff around here. All right. Thank you so much, Rob. I appreciate that. I hope it was at least good comedy for people there.
I still haven't seen it.
on the show.
I asked
Mike
Fahad-
dropped it.
No, I asked Fahad if he got it, but I need to find it because if you guys,
Well, I know the time.
Does anybody know the timestamp on it so I can see it?
Sorry,
at
Rob.
some
I
point?
had to undo all that because I
As in the
needed.
chat, if you know the timestamp of when the keyboard
I know
thing,
when it was.
I was kind of away from
I
it.
can look at
and
my
didn't
key. I
see
know
it.
exactly when it was.
So like, yeah, Sean will find it for me because you miss a moment like that. It's like I'm sitting here all day freaking long. And
It's
then,
around like
it's-
1:30. It's
That's the
basically
one
around
moment I
1:30.
missed.
I can probably just go find it right now.
What were we talking about?
We can go back. I don't know. Google. We're talking about the phones and the back and forth and the flip and all that stuff. I like it. My cousin has, you know, my cousin Tim. He has the flip phone as well, and he really likes it from Samsung. But I'm not. So I was a Google Pixel. I love the Google Pixel. I love the iPhone. To me, they're one and the same. Doesn't matter. I would support either one. So I have the 12 Pro right now. So I will probably be upgrading. So I would like to wait for Apple to do that. To me, it's not about that, the phone, though. It's going to be tomorrow. It's going to be all about AI. And some of their new, they're talking about Bard. There's that Palm 2 as well coming tomorrow. But again, the cat's out the bag. They have sort of already talked a little bit about that. And so, yeah, big move upside, which maybe is why it's fading out. Like, I really had thought that Google was going to be a #1 name here for the long today. And as you can see, we did believe in it. We don't have, Google's a good name for me today. I have no problems with it. We really hit it good off the open, man. We had this 108, 109. And then this is where we went wrong. And not afraid to show it. It's right here. That 10 bid. I remember Neil and I were both debating it. I had the order ready to go. And I was like, do I want to push it? Do I want to push it? And I didn't. And then it looked like it was ramping up. So I was like, okay, we'll take it. Then a couple minutes later, it broke. We got long, and the rest, the best we got out was like 13s or something up here. I think it wicked as high as 17 or something. And then it was just, I averaged back in against that bottom, and that's where it broke. Then we tried some more longs in here right now, and then eventually downside. So it was really good early, and it hasn't been great late. So, yeah, we'll watch it. I do think you are at a good level now, though. This 107, we've zoomed back out on this a couple times here, and 107 just goes back into some of this. Just a couple days ago, 107, 107.15. These were the bottoms, 106.80, 106.90. So we'll see. But the trend right now is your friend if you're short, and you can probably stay it until you break that 50 period, which is 108.20.
I went long and well, at first it was good. If I had just gotten away from it, I would have been fine because there were a couple of decent longs, and then every time I reloaded a long is when it was bad. It was like you took the initial long and then worked it, you were okay. It's when you tried to go reloading it after a bounce, and every single one of those red. I wish I could tell you it was a short trade, but I thought it was going to be a little stronger than it was. Now out of it, I don't really, unless you're looking for it's trending short. When a stock trends short and goes green to red and the market can't break higher, I kind of usually feel that it's a short trade, but that's probably back above 108. This dash, there's still no news that we're aware of, obviously, but it's starting to really barcode now, so I'm not reloading it. I was reloading it in front of that buyer at 50s, but I'm not really doing it anymore because I'm not sure why it's not moving. You don't typically see a volume spike like this followed by a consolidation that does absolutely nothing, especially with a big buyer there. So I'd have expected it to be testing the high or breaking down and filling this guy's order. So I'll continue to scalp out if it goes up, but I'm not going to reload off that 50 anymore. Hi, Brendan.
I always like it when
Oh, there it goes. Of
get a
course it
magical
breaks.
appearance from
And I don't
Brendo.
get a full fill. Thank you very much, stop order. I got partially filled. Partially filled in that
it
break.
wasn't that stop order.
No, I used a different stop, and I still got partialed.
Well, our stop order if failed would be a market order, see? So you wouldn't have got partial. But again, I don't
No,
trust.
that's the thing. So come to my screen for a second. So I used a different stop order, which fires a limit order. So that's me getting a partial fill just underneath that level, and then I have to punch out the rest manually that I didn't get. But the other order that I like better sends a market order.
Right.
So it would have aggressively got everything out. So that's kind of, it's like 0 for 1 for using the new stop. It did fill, but it didn't give the full fill. So there it is. It didn't smell right. The fact that it wasn't bouncing
what is
off that
that
order.
smell?
And the second it broke, dashes all the way back into the lows now. So at least we didn't reload that one. Like, you didn't want to go to the well too often with a level like that, but that's a lot of slippage. So we get out on it, but I wish I had that other stop because that would have been all out at that 40 level instead of having to get some out at 68 there. So a little extra slippage after getting a partial fill on dash.
Okay, I wanted just
the
to talk
irony.
about Microsoft here because it is coming back to the downside. This is a trade that we put on here for you in the afternoon, talking about that high of 308.30 or so. We got a couple good fills, man. Right at view up. It's almost too tight right now. It's really coiling up, and I've gotten good outs down here, man. We've gotten some 90s. We got a bunch. There's a few outs right here. If I zoom in, you can see 2 outs right there at 90, then another one just now, one at 97, one at 90, and a couple more 80s and so on and so forth. And the reason why is that I see it stopping, and I just like, oh, I'm gonna get some more out because we have shares here, and we're trying to, again, we're short at 14s. It's 25 cents in the money. We're taking a little bit out here, but we are hoping that we can get into this area again. That very bottom is 73. I have a bid at 67. Now that that's sort of changed, I guess we can. I'm going to put a bid now at. Let's put a bid at potentially my birth year, 79. Right now, just ran. Nah, I'm not going to do that. I don't want. I think this could flush down. So let's see about this right here. We're here anyways. We're at 67. You can see it's starting to curl up. So let's see if we get to the 200 period right now on Microsoft. I did want to check in Alibaba. Remember it was 82.50? Neither nor Neil nor I have that trade. So I'm going to go like this and see where it is now. 82.25. I'm going to get a piece out now. I just said I wouldn't on Microsoft, but I just did because it went down into the 80s again, low 80s. Now it's 79. Yes. Okay, so Alibaba again. Yep, would have worked right there off of that number from yesterday. 82.50 right there. Could have gone short again. Didn't do it. Glad we low. Yes, sir, Microsoft. Glad we did it on Softy and we put some more to work here. I'm going to get some more out. I'm going to cancel that 67. Now let's let it fall down as there comes Microsoft. And we are now out of actually exactly half. So my 67 order, I got a little silly there. I took about 10 cents too much there. We could have waited probably for 67, but we got a 77. We got an 82 and a 75. So let's let this name continue to fall down. Again, target zone for Microsoft if anybody's in this name. This is where I could use Fibonacci's, but the last time I used it, couldn't get rid of them, and they were there for days and days and days, and then magically they're gone now. And I don't use Fibonacci, so that won't be a good idea. But there it is. Here we go. Here we go, Mr. Softy. Thank you so much. We always talk about it. Stay in your lane. Trade the names that you know best. Yeah, that's what I feel like today, maybe sometimes, that I'm in that little haze, especially after that little incident earlier. I want to thank everybody for your patience with me on the midday show. But here it comes back down now. Microsoft, we're back in our spot.
You know what you got to do?
We're back in our spot. We're loving life right now. We're comfortable, and Microsoft is rewarding us. But
Don't smash the keyboard.
that Palantir was a bad trade anyways.
Smash the...
Yes. What's our like totals looking like?
I don't know.
283. Give me another keyboard.
I see that. I
something's
kind of knew that was going to happen.
Something's going to get smashed.
We got keyboards being smashed around here, big orders being taken down.
No, I'm going to smash it because of that number.
market
300
making
likes.
moves.
That doesn't upset you?
Of course it does.
Yes, exactly.
course
Give
it
us two
does.
keyboards around
Come
here.
on now. Like, I hope I don't break anything because, quite frankly, I don't want Rob to pull a hamstring the next time he runs back over here. The way like he was like carrying
was
3.
really
He
stressed,
ran
eh?
up. He ran up the stairs. You have to get upstairs to get up.
You
here.
heard that I was frantic.
He's like carrying like the Heisman.
I mean, I honestly like. I'm glad to have that like you and I have that kind of pull, but like I doesn't need to run around like. And I'm gonna.
Yo, he was
gonna
he was moving. He was
thank him very,
We
very
love
much.
Rob. He's a great guy.
No, I mean, yeah, everybody here at Trader TV Live, we love. So.
Oh, I didn't mention this, and we didn't really get to Novavax, so I'm going to very, very quickly, because we're done the rundown. Novavax, I had 2 trades on. Well, I have 2 trades. I had 1 long this morning. It was kind of a 10 break. It broke out 10. I didn't catch the 10 break, so we played the consolidation long into 11. I missed any kind of a top. Obviously, I didn't get the top there. But once it broke back beneath 10 even, it's like short the breakdown at 10. So that was our key price to get in. It's our key price to reverse. Bingo, bango, bongo. If I get a chance to reload, fair enough. But the good thing about this is when I trade like a runner or a small cap, I'd rather the chart look like this. Like, just keep it simple. Don't necessarily take the break. Take the tighter risk to reward trade if you can find it to find out. And then I got wicked out here because it broke 11 and failed it. I probably could have carried that through the high. But whether I get stopped out here on a fail at 11 or get stopped out over here, yes, I'd agree that's better because I give myself more potential upside. It ends up being the same thing. However, you would rather be on the back end of it if you have to be, because that means you gave it a little bit more time to work. That said, I'm working the short here for the afternoon. Jonathan R., I think you're dead right about this. Thank you. First of all, thank you for the super chat. Let's get that out of the way. We need a new one on the soundboard. I don't know if the guys are listening to this, of Sean smashing the keyboard unless you smash the like button. So we have been meaning to reshoot some of these, and now we have a clip of an actual keyboard breaking and a keyboard being smashed. So that literally writes itself.
We have to find that clip because I don't think it was that. I don't think it was as good as you think. I just literally just held the keyboard and dropped it.
Oh, they wouldn't have been fast enough to...
Yeah, it wasn't like a smashing situation.
Well, I haven't seen it, so I can't comment.
At all. Who's switching over there?
I haven't seen it, I can't.
Right now.
I'm going to find it at some point on the train home or somewhere aftermarket.
I know where it was. It was 1:30.
I
I can find it right now.
1:30. Okay, you know what? Yeah, because I can go to the old thing. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Hey, Novavax, the only thing I'm in. I'm working the short there. I don't really see any longs. The bet, by the way, is will Meta close above 235? So if you haven't got that in, usually we close it up about 3 o'clock, or if it starts like breaking up past 36, we'll get that out of the way.
Here.
But Meta is an absolute moonshot today and holding consolidation. I'm shaking my head because, like, okay, come to my chart for a second. Sometimes it'd be like this. And I don't know who said, someone around here says that all the time. Sometimes it just be like this. I was going long Meta off the 30. Somebody used, maybe it was Luca or something.
Okay.
I was only going long off Meta, and then the news comes out. I'm like, oh, that's great. I just happened to be in the long off VWAP 233 area when the news comes out and get it to 35. I'm like, well, la-di-da, let's reload it at the same price. That was good news. How can it not be good? Stops out beneath. I don't go back into it, and then when you stop doing it is when it really starts to work. And there's a reason for that, because when people give up on something that's long, that means the algos have won, and now they can turn the buy program back on. They're like, yes, we've got the suckers out of it with the paper hands. That's me. And then we can really let the stock moonshot. So now we got to be worried about this 235 and the 36 top on Meta, which, by the way, checks daily that's not working. 236 up here. So yesterday you wicked kind of close to it. I have like a 35.70-ish area. And then you go back on... checks notes, that should be Friday. That 235.70 was the same thing in the pre-market. So just underneath 236 really is a multi-day resistance level on Meta. Could it break out? Sure it could. That's why we're putting the bet for this name, because it's clearly at a pivot zone. If the market ends up positive today, I guarantee you Meta's going to be positive. It's going to take a lot to bring it down. It is holding things up as we speak. Only 1%, but on a day where the NASDAQ's doing nothing and down 0.5, you can't ask for too much more than that out of Meta. Would have been nice if it didn't run my stop, but, you know, outside of that.
All right, I was going to go talk about Meta, but you just did there, so that's a good
my
one. Dash on the downside as well.
Hwadunk.
Yeah.
That's a Hwadunk. It's not it's not the biggest candle of the day on Dash, but I would, because we were talking.
It's not a quadunk.
No, we were talking, no, but okay, look at it this way. Yes, the up candle, can we come to my chart for a second? Because I think this is an important definition. Yes,
That's
the
quadunk.
up candle, that's a quadunk.
Yes.
Technically, this is the bigger candle on the upside.
No.
But the down candle is the biggest of the day.
Yes, because quadunk is only one direction.
Exactly. So this is
Yes.
we were talking about what is the definition of quadunk and when can you legitimately use it. This is a quadunk.
Yeah.
Like what I think what ended up happening.
We literally defined it on the midday show.
But see, but this was the problem. Like I think Sharif called this a quadunk when it went from
What?
No, it was right here. Fubo had broken the top, did this little wick, came down from 204 to one. It's not to call it truth, but it came down like 5 cents, and he was like quadunked back in.
I mean, you are calling him out.
Oh yeah, I guess.
But
I
I mean,
no, but it was more.
I feel like we've helped the audience and ourselves and Sharif by defining
what
that is, and I feel like I did a good job on that one.
It's perfect. Because like, what's another example? It doesn't matter. You
I
guys
can find one. I mean,
I'm sure we can
I'm
find
hoping that Microsoft has a nice move right now in it as well. You can see here goes Microsoft. Okay, so again, some shorts here on Microsoft. Just printing. We just got a 75 fill there. Looks like, I mean, this 200 period, I draw these lines for a reason, not just because I like the color of them. It's green right now. That does not mean go. This is the 200 period moving average, and right now you are starting to break lower on softy. So let's just hold, man. Unfortunately, now we only have a third left of our total position here in total. So it's still good because we have all these reloads. So it's still a nice position for me. Hopefully this can come back down. We are green, obviously, on Microsoft here today. Not obvious, we're red on some names, but we just got into Microsoft right now. So here comes a move down in. See, it's not really breaking lower, but that's okay. We do think that there is a good chance for this to break lower. You're now below the 50 period on the NASDAQ. Okay, I'm gonna take out, I'll punch 63s out. Well, I got all those D prints. Okay, we just punched out 62 we got, which is okay. Now out a little bit, trying to fade out now. And again, I was just meant to talk about a target there and I didn't. So target for Microsoft, I mean, the very bottom of the day is where we were at the beginning. So I don't think that that's going to come into, I mean, I want it to come into play and it should. It's only 306.30, but that's a big move down. If anything, that's 306.65. We're ways away from that, man. Microsoft had itself a little move, which is why we shorted it into that move. I would have shorted it here, but I wasn't doing that for some reason. We waited for it to go down, got it back up. So I think somewhere into here is reasonable. 307.20. You know, and again, you can, like I said, you can use retracements, and we're going to have Frank coming on soon, and he's probably going to tell me that there's a tool I can use to tell me where I'm probably supposed to get out here. And again, I know you can use Fibonacci's and all this kind of stuff. Start it here, bring it down to where the move is. But I'm just trying to do some simple, supply and demand zones, and it looks like right into here we had some buyers, right? Not only that, it was where the 50 period was. We hit it. We started to go back to the upside. So let's just try to respect this area here. We'll put a bid just south of 50, around 40, and then we'll try to get something in the 20s. That, and then if I'm out of the trade by then I'll be a happy camper. So it's Microsoft looking to make moves down, and it's actually going right now as we speak. So trying to break that 50 area, so that'll be nice. When it does, hopefully we'll get a 45 bid that I'm going to put in right now.
I just saw CVNA making a move to the upside here. It's what I love about this is where it's at. And we traded 2 levels on CVNA. Again, I prefer when things look this way. You got the first breakout of yesterday's high. I did miss the reload in there, and we played that to 12. And then once it was above 12, we played like the pullback consolidation. So it broke 12 even. I don't take the break. I play the consolidation after the break, and then got it up to like 13. I did have an accident. Well, I had a stop underneath 12, and quite frankly, I did take the short underneath there. I didn't really love it. I just got out of it right away. At the end of the day, like the reason I didn't like this short was you still had, in theory, like this 11.50, 11.60 for a dip buy. So it's like, why am I shorting it here if on the higher time frame, when I go back the day before, we've got a support level? And that's what ends up happening. You've got that support there at 11.60, so it has a chance to break back out. So if it holds this, I'd be looking for either a breakout and we go long, consolidation above 12, or just try to take a consolidation off 11.60 with the stop underneath 11.35 as we go to Brendan at the desk and one of our favorite guests out there, Mr. Frank Caberna.
Just in the meantime, guys, DWAC popping up here on significant volume through 1350. There were some Trump headlines on a defamation case that was, looks like a verdict was reached. So DWAC up on some volume here through 13.5. Let's, as discussed, bring in Frank Caberna from IGUS to give us a bit of a tee up on what is to come tomorrow. Frank, going to be a huge day. Great to have you as always. As far as the overall market is concerned, as far as what we learned both last Friday with the non-farm payrolls number, as far as what we learned last Wednesday with Fed Chair Powell coming through, this is the next kind of checkpoint, if you will, as far as where we're at. We're going to tell you a little bit on what CPI is, but why it's important and why specifically this time it's going to be important tomorrow morning.
Yeah, thanks for having me here today, Brendan, and the rest of the boys there at Trader TV. Appreciate it. And yeah, it'll be a really interesting number that we're going to get tomorrow in terms of inflation here in the U.S. And it'll be a really interesting time because it feels like markets are holding their breath either for this number to come out tomorrow morning, but also with a little bit of the debt ceiling talk mixed in. So maybe we get to that to close this. But right off the bat, just want to let you know when to expect this inflation number and what it means. The primary measure of inflation here in the U.S. is Consumer Price Index, which measures the price for goods and services. It's going to come out tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time, and they're looking at a number around 5%. That was the last reading for March's inflation, and it's what analysts are expecting for inflation here to be reported in May, but for the month of April. And it creates a really simple kind of binary outcome, at least in my mind, Brendan, which is over under 5%. And you'll see that compared to recent history of inflation, first of all, here we have obviously a big run up recently compared to the last 20 years of inflation. Last year, we saw the highest inflation that the U.S. has seen in decades. And now we're on the downtrend a little bit. But with the expectation at 5% and with last month's inflation at 5%, this level of 5% will be a really interesting marker because, of course, they could come out and hit it exactly. But Brendan, if we get an over 5% print, then we're looking at the potential for renewed inflationary fears that we saw for almost all of last year. And why would even, a 5.2 or 5.5% print maybe freak markets out? Well, because Brendan, we haven't seen a uptick in inflation since June of last year. It's been, of course, we've gone from 9% down to 5% here, but every step of the way lower, no reversals in inflation. But last week's number, bringing to mind, at least for me, and I think for you as well, Brendan, the non-farm number being higher than expected, I think could correlate to a surprise here in inflation. And bringing in some of the recent correlations between inflation, interest rates, and then the rest of the market, we could see a really big shift in especially financial stocks, bank stocks, the Russell, smaller to mid-cap stocks around this number, as interest rates have been very highly correlated with inflation. So a higher than expected inflation should correlate to a higher interest rate market, which would be good for those financial stocks and small to mid-cap stocks, but maybe bad for that NASDAQ and those tech stocks. I don't know what you think around that potential for coming in above 5% or lower than 5%, which I think, though some people might take it as a good thing, we're lessening this inflation, more and more people talking about the potential for deflation as well. I don't know how you see these two sides of the inflationary number tomorrow coin, so to speak.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see that pause or a stall out, if you will, as we saw on that bar chart, of that gradual incremental stepping to the downside that we've seen back to 5%. However, I mean, if you even go back to Wednesday during the press conference last week, they pressed him quite hard and, for multiple questions on whether they would move the goalpost as to, maybe they go to 3% as their target, maybe they go to 3.5% as their target. So yeah, if we see maybe a flat month over month print even, is that necessarily a bad thing versus continuation of the move in the right direction. I wanted to get your opinion on PCE versus CPI as well, because we always hear the Fed come out after the fact and say, oh, we look at more at PCE. We're still seeing, however, within that PCE data, a lot of individual points that are very sticky and not necessarily improving yet.
Yeah, no, I was even digging into not only the PCE, but also the inner workings of the CPI, which will be the number tomorrow, obviously. And yeah, a lot of things being sticky as you report there. And I brought up, I think both tend to move hand in hand, and similarly with, we referenced the non-farm payrolls number from last week, and then people out there might be like, Frank and Brendan, you're talking about unemployment, you're talking about inflation. How are these things tied together? And with PCE as well. And they all have become highly correlated as inflationary numbers. Essentially, like you could view it as anything that is viewed as U.S. growth, like even a hot GDP number. You might expect like, oh, the U.S. is doing well. That's good for the U.S. Well, there's a double edge to that sword, because whether it's PCE, CPI, unemployment, or GDP, better than expected is correlating to higher interest rates, which could be bad for those tech stocks. You've seen a lot of the tech stock rally of 2023 here coming from people projecting interest rates to be lower. And to your point, I mean, you said this when I jumped on last week, Brendan, that though the reaction to the FOMC on Wednesday was a little bit dovish, markets reacted a little bit dovish, Fed Chair Powell himself was a little bit hawkish. And if we get, even a 5% print or above 5% print, I think you could see interest rates jump. Some of those tech stocks give back some ground. You can see here the majority of the stock market highly correlated to interest rates. What's good for rates has been good for financial stocks and the Russell and what have you, but not nearly as robust a correlation with the NASDAQ. And we've even seen days where rates are moving higher and the NASDAQ is getting hit pretty hard. On the flip side, if we see an under 5% print, the correlation would be lower interest rates there from the Fed in the future. And with that, potential for a tech stock rally, and also potential for a little bit of a gold and Bitcoin rally there, as those two markets have been really highly correlated with lowering interest rates. But I wanted to bring up the environment from the 70s and the 80s, because this is the last time that we in the US saw inflation really north of 5% for more than a couple of months, as we've been north of 5% for more than a year. And the reason that I bring this up is because you and I keep alluding to it, Brendan, that we could be ticking lower. The next print could be 4.5%, and we could get to that 2% target that the Fed wants. But there were plenty of years throughout the 70s and early 80s here where inflation came down off of those highs that we've seen recently of 9% or so, 11% in 74, came down and almost gave a little head fake to the market, like we're heading in the right direction between 74 and 76, for instance, only to see inflation spark higher again. So just wanted to remind people, of course, history doesn't necessarily predict what will happen here in the future, but there is a great case to be made for inflation ebbing and flowing. We're downtrending right now, but could edge higher. And I think Powell has kind of covered his bases, hedged against, so to speak, that potentially being the case. And I mean, tomorrow's number obviously will be a huge data point for whether we're edging down to that 2% target, or we could just be right now in a little bit of a valley that could lead to another inflation peak in the near future.
Remember then, as we continue along on this train of what is to come, we all remember when interest rates were basically zero and what happened to the overall market in that case, and specifically tech stocks. So we're not saying, everyone calm down, we're not saying it's going right back to zero, but I mean, let's face it, maybe the new norm is somewhere in the range of 3 to 5%. If we can hang out in that range for a while, what does the market do in that case?
Yeah, I think that would be honestly the best case scenario for the Fed and the stock market at large, because it's interesting, even with that case study that I just brought up with inflation kind of peaking and then coming off and then kind of ebbing and flowing and what have you, stocks did actually rally back throughout the later part of the 70s there and into the early part of the 80s. And so I think if we can see interest rates normalize a little bit here at 3 to 5%, inflation stay around this 3 to 5% number, stocks could definitely respond well to that. I think what people worry about is a straight shot lower in inflation down to 0% or into deflationary territory, and how that could spark a little bit of a crisis feel, because the last time we were at 5% inflation was prior to the '08 crash. And we saw that we went straight through that, inflation being higher than the 2% target, right down to the 2% target and on to deflationary territory there below 0% inflation. Of course, the Fed is aware of all of this. Everybody is aware of the inflationary landscape around the '08 financial crisis, but a couple of things definitely tipping the hand to that not being off the table. And like I say, more and more people talking about the potential for deflation and what that would mean by the end of the year or next year as interest rate projections continue to be lower than where they are right now, but on any given day be as low as 2% or back up to 3%. We'll continue to monitor this inflation, and we'll take from that where interest rates might be going in stocks in the future here.
Tomorrow morning, 8:30, we'll bring it to you live as it happens. And it's worth mentioning, we get PPI then on Thursday morning as well. Yep. Obviously not as closely watched, but definitely another data point that will be considered as far as this battle is concerned. Frank Cabrera is Senior Content Strategist at IG US. Always a pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks, Brendan.
It's a time. We have them on, and we get to talk about Fed, and of course we get that CPI, PPI, and whichever, regardless of what camp you sort of fall under, whether we care more about the Fed, or we care more about the labor market, or we care more about inflation at this point. I understand these things are moving, can move the markets, and we've seen it happen before. So, look, we'll see what happens. But while we were away, the NASDAQ, and this is my, you can't. Let's forget about my 60-minute. Let's go to a 15-minute, because a 15-minute does a little more justice to the move. So while we were away, you were sort of just barcoding, doing nothing at the top end of the range here, lower highs, and then there was it's not a Huadunk, I almost just said that word again, it's not, but there was a pullback right into the NASDAQ low, or at least a few handles away from it, and then a very, very quick bounce. So if you were in anything that was remotely following the market, I just dipped into NVIDIA. Shout out to a couple people in the chat that were reminding, because I was looking at DWAC. I paid for locates on DWAC, thinking it had just moved, and realized it actually didn't move that much. They were pretty cheap. But NVIDIA, this is 287.75. It broke a consolidation down. I was able to get it. It bounced off VWAP. I got some out in front of VWAP, and now it's rolling back into the upside. But I get distracted by DWAC, I think. If we come back up to the top, I think I'll short into this level again, maybe drop it back a little bit. Get a better price if it does work back into said upside. Meta, by the way, because Meta doesn't care, Meta just kind of hung around the high, so no breakdown, still above that 235 zone. I will be closing the betting on that pretty soon. Generally speaking, once we get into power hour, we like to let the market do its thing and everyone get their points bets in. You got to be a member, so you got to be a subscriber so you can access the chat, and of course that's your way to take advantage. You get the points by viewing and being active in the chat, and then you can use them to bet on things like, will Meta close above or below $235 today? Obviously, right now, it looks pretty darn strong, but hey, anything can happen in the next hour. Novavax, which I'm also in the south side of, I got a print underneath 950, got a 932, so that continues to head to the downside. I almost want to hit this one because I like that one better. The market's 0.5% down. I like that red and green look. The whole page just goes red, but this is a stock that's up 29%. However, trend has been to the downside since probably about lunchtime here. So the shorts starting to work out. Power hour is on, and get your bets in because we're going to close it up in a second.
I'm going to get my bet in for sure. But hey, while you were gone, man, we just pretty much destroyed Microsoft. We're short at 308.20, and you know we did pretty good holding it, man. Like our targets filled up. Like there's that 40 fill that we talked about, 45 that we'd get once it broke O's. Then we talked about getting something in the mid 20, or sorry 30. We did that. Then we got 16. Then we got O's, and then we just got the very bottom of the day at 306.70 there. So we are actually holding now 20%. Let's see where we go. But it's a nice move downside for Microsoft, taking over the #1 spot again, profit-wise. So a nice move downside there for Softy. You should just trade these ones. And again, it just came to the right levels. That's all, man. It came up to the day's high. The same thing that we did in Palantir, but unfortunately we got out of Palantir when it broke. But that was the same kind of a move right there, right back into the high. Anything you have that looks like this makes sense, right? And so there's Palantir right there. But actually, now that I'm seeing this, I just called this up as an example. Palantir right now on the 1-minute chart is bouncing off the 50 period that we really haven't seen at all today. And that's here at 950. I don't know, normally I'd be all over this going long right now. This could be a decent long for Palantir. We've bounced off before once we've consolidated. The problem is, I guess you could just take a 51 and get out at 49. I don't know though. I don't want that to happen to me, but that's part of trading. Shoot, there it goes, 53, 54. Again, even if you put on 1,000 shares, make $100. If you get back up here to 60, put on a little bit more, make a little bit more. But no, that's 950. See, I'm tempted to put on a trade there and then hold it until here, which is only 47. But then if it breaks, then it probably continues its move down. Palantir at an interesting spot for sure. Okay, I'll think about buying Palantir at 51s. The only thing is, with the market breaking lower right now, is the long something that we want to do? That's the only thing.
There might be one here.
But look how much the market actually dropped and Palantir didn't.
Right before you guys finished in the midday show, remember PACW and Wall started moving?
I'm going to do it.
Those,
Yep.
like both those regional banks, they're both up right now, but I remember this. I did take a breakout at the high, and I kind of scalped it because I kind of chased the move a little bit and resisted that 650. So I played it 640 to 50. At that time, I felt like I was chasing the move, but you had gotten above afternoons. Like, take this afternoon resistance level at 620, and then you see where we're kind of double bottoming right at that same 620 level. This is the kind of, I mean, the risk to reward is really not that bad. So you risk 10 cents. The high of the day is 30 cents up. Yeah, you know, I'll be a little bit tempted here on PACW. Wall has been, they're kind of the same thing. I suppose if I look, I bet you if I look at WAL, which I'm going to in a quick second here after I get my stop in, you could probably see a very similar thing. However, PACW, I don't know, lately has made more sense. It could always Huadunk at any moment. I mean that one literally, because if it were to pull back into VWAP on one shot, I want my stop out under here. That would be the biggest red candle of the day were it to do it. And Western Alliance, similar move, just sort of as we were coming in, well, maybe not just as we were coming in, it was 15 minutes before 2 o'clock there that you got the breakout. Very similar sort of dip buy opportunity. I just don't like, I love when you have like a previous resistance turn into support. This never really broke the afternoon support. It actually failed the afternoon sort of resistance level. So it stopped out at that top. So that's a little difference. Why I choose PACW long over a WAL, Western Alliance. It's just that subtle difference. A little bit more strength relative to yesterday's prices. So I'm buying the dip sort of above that previous resistance as opposed to beneath it. It does set up that Wall could be a breakout, so if this does end up working and taking out the high, then Western Alliance could do the same thing as well, and you can maybe trail past that. But I'm just going to sit in at risk to 20 and see if we can't get up to that high of the day.
Okay, so we said we'd do it, so we're done. We had did it right now on PLTR. We're long at 51.50. That's it, man. We have a 52 and a 51 there on Palantir. Let's see if it wants to hold that bottom. I don't know. I mean, we're still into a little bit of Microsoft, so obviously if the market does pull down, we'll have that Microsoft, but then it'll kind of be one-to-one there. So we're going to try to get some targets here. I would rather hold on to the short of Microsoft because our stop is pretty tight here on Palantir, so I could see that breaking and Microsoft, again, continuing its move down. I am going to put a bid, though, around 80 for Microsoft, just in case that does come through. And if that happens real quick, then we want to make sure that we're there to at least get a fill if Microsoft does dip back down in. And we got that very bottom there at 70, but I'd be happy with another 80 fill. We're $1.25 in the money on the Microsoft trade here, and if it comes down into those 80s, then we will take that fill. I do have an offer for, just because I'm talking about the positions I'm in, I do have an offer for Palantir here at 56, and it's only for 20% of the shares. So if we get there, then I mean, I'll take them all out if we get to 60. If the market's really running at that point, then fine. We'll worry about it then. 307.70, just looking at a 3-minute chart here on Microsoft, trying to figure out if it does retrace back up, where did we want to get out? That's a 5-minute chart, sorry. This is right here, 304, 307.40, so I said 37. 304.40 right there, that's the level that I was looking at, 25, maybe as an out spot right there, but that's something that we're going to look at for Microsoft. As there it is, it just went up to 307.20 and then came down again 20 cents almost in a hurry there. 307. 30 is going to be an out for us or so on Microsoft if it does come back in to the upside on that one. Palantir just went up to 54 again. I could scalp this out. Maybe we'll do that. I'll put an order at 54. I don't think, again, just for a little bit of shares. Yeah, you know what? I mean, 51 to 54 doesn't seem right. Let's go at least to 55. I mean, if we're going to go 1-to-1, we're going to get out at 49. So we're really looking for 3 pennies, which would be that 54. But, you know, hopefully we can get back up to the upside and take even a little bit more on that. All right, all right. Now that it's here, we'll take it a little bit on it and see what happens. Microsoft also, instead of getting 80, let's just get that price rate there. We're going to punch a little bit out at 93 on Microsoft there because we're waiting for 80. So we'll cancel the 80, and now we'll see if we can go lower on Softy. DraftKings. So DraftKings was a good trade for us today, and you could see where we got out. And it was really, wait a second, why are my fills showing up on the 5-minute chart? Okay, I'm going to have to fix that. Okay, so right here. Again, short early, we called this move. These are all 10% until our final one comes out for flat, right there at 24.35. But some nice downside moves here into the 20s, so able to capture at least 10 cents. And there goes DraftKings straight up to the upside right now. Let's see what Brendan has for us.
Just quickly, guys, DWAC starting to go again here. Just popped up on more volume now. A decent move actually coming in for DWAC on that court ruling, it would appear anyways, for Trump. There was also this that just popped up. SoFi trying to go here. We mentioned this yesterday, but looks like the CEO actually bought 217,000. Does that math work? Yeah, I guess it does. 217,000 shares. We were talking, there was a filing yesterday. I think it was for 30,000 or something in that kind of neighborhood. But again, an SEC filing coming through about Anthony Noto picking up some more shares.
A milli, that math works. Anthony Noto dropping a milli on SoFi shares. If DWAC gets to 15, I paid for my locates. That's all I'm going to say about that. I'll leave it at that one.
And short?
No, it's at 1380.
Oh, if it gets
to 15. I don't know that it's moved. Yeah, I'm not sure that it's moved enough to sort of warrant, hey, let's just jump in the other direction on obvious catalyst. So it broke the 50 period here. Like if it gets up anywhere near like this previous 15 area, like that's what I'm getting at. It's just, I want to be ready in case it happens. Typically speaking, it's usually pretty good for a fade opportunity. I got the Novavax reload, pretty much same price before, actually maybe a little bit worse. I got some 71s in there. Going to take some out if it gets to 50 and then work this back down to 9 even. NVIDIA did not get, unfortunately, as it just a bit outside. It missed me by a few pennies up there. It did get back up to the top, but it just missed me. So I got picked up on Novavax. I do want to fade on NVIDIA to reload it, and I do want to grab DWAC, but it has to move a little bit more than it already has. Speaking of things moving to the upside, Fubo's been pretty strong, and it's a weird move. I don't know any better way to put it, but it was like a very slow grind to the upside, and it just did this again after trying to break up at $2. Maybe there is a short off of 205. I don't know. I'm not even sure I paid for locates on this. But every time it gets up there, it's not a Huadunk or anything crazy, but it just
tries to drift above $2 and then pulls right back into that level. There's something pulling it down. There's sellers above 2. It just can't seem to run any further. And the volume is, for a stock it's up 6% and grinding higher, the volume's pretty crap. So I watch out for that. PAC-W, we did grab that long. Nothing crazy happening just yet. It's starting to stair-step it up a little bit. I want to get some out here. I'm above that 40 level on the offer, trying to grab some, and I'll get some out north side of 50 as it heads toward the high of the day. Just looking for that to continue its breakout. Not a heck of a lot is strong or arrows up in a day like today, but you got to find like those little kernels of strength. It's a weird thing to say about the regional banks, but today, they're relatively strong. It is what it is. It's not just the Metas of the world and the Palantirs of the world. The regional's doing okay today. Come on, just give me a fill above 41 here. Just break through. There's an iceberg on MEMX at 41. You know what? I just realized I don't know how to pronounce that gateway. I don't know if it's MEMX.
It's MEMX.
It's MEMX. Okay, so MEMX, whatever. Someone trying to add liquidity at 41 was holding it up. I'm sitting on the offer at 43. We'll see if we can grab that to the upside. Carvana was another name that we're looking at for an afternoon trade. Okay, so we took PAC-W, almost said PayPal, did not grab Carvana, now bouncing off VWAP here. So the entry to me would be pulling back into 12. This is how we got it last time when it broke this level. It got to 12.20, curled back in and gave us 12 evens. We'll see if we can get that going a second time for the day here, but probably a bit of a missed opportunity. Now I really want PAC-W to go because Carvana might actually have more upside. And by the way, the target is I'm getting some, I just got some out in the mid-40s. I'll get some out above 50 and then hold the rest for the high, a break of the high of day on PAC-W. Carvana would be the same thing. If I get to 12, I'm working it out in the way to 13 because I'm not sure it breaks this double top, but more room to go.
Okay, we weren't sure how to tell you this but DWAC is moving around, and I'm not super comfortable talking about what the case is for, but Trump is found liable for abuse and not the bigger one there in the Carroll case. You guys can look it up. I don't really want to talk about it, but I did want to talk about it because it was moving around DWAC, not to be political or anything like that, but found guilty for the lesser charge. So that's what it seems like there. So that's, I guess, good for him running, I guess, in 2024. So there it goes, a nice move to the upside. You guys, please Google it yourself if you did want to have some more information on that. I'm quite frankly don't really want to discuss it too much, but that is what's happening right there for DWAC. So it's a nice move back up there to the upside. Thanks, Brendan, for dropping that, and thank you everybody for understanding why we don't really want to go into it too much. But Microsoft coming back in, so that's going to be good. Palantir, finally, man, we got it. We got the 56, baby. So it's a nice move to the upside there for Palantir, as it does fill us up a little bit there at 56. We didn't get everything out. We got a 54, a 55, and a 56, I guess. But I'm just looking at the orders. We still have more than half of the trade in there. Oh, shit.
He's in the house.
He got all cleaned up. It's Randy. He got a haircut. This man looking sharp. Get over here. I mean, I can't just tease this and not everybody see, man. Look at you, looking real sharp, man. I like that. I like the summer cut, man. There it is right there, all bicked up right there. So that's shout out to our boy Halim. And looking real clean on that. Do we have that almond milk in the fridge yet? Oh. Didn't see it yet. I think it's coming. We had a request there for almond milk because my wife bought the oat milk and she liked it, so I started putting it in my coffee. Really? I don't mind it. I don't mind it. I don't know. I get almond milk from.
I'm not a fan of oat milk. But
no, I don't. Yeah. So I get almond milk from Tim Hortons anyways, or Starbucks or whatever. But I like normal milk anyway. I'm a one milk, so. If anybody wants to send a coffee over here, one milk. But we'll try the almond milk there as well.
Gotta have it black.
We put, I don't mind that either. But to me, it's not.
No, I roll. I'm a little cliche when it comes to that. Long Oatly. You know, I haven't looked at that stock in a long time. Is that a penny stock?
Is oat milk even like sustainable? I don't know how they produce. I don't know how that. I think it's more expensive. I don't know.
What's the ticker on Oatly again?
OTLY.
OTLY, right? Yeah,
I believe so.
Okay. Oh no, it's $2. It's not a penny stock. It's legit.
$2.
I almost just said it's legit.
Where did they bring that to
I
market?
didn't-
$2.
yeah, I didn't mean
Give me a
that.
break. Some of these guys.
Not to
there.
harp on it. What's it? It's literally doing nothing. Forget about it. Who cares? I thought maybe if it was moving.
The tank is on Microsoft.
Yeah, the market's right back toward those lows. So here we go again. Nvidia did not get the reload, but it's about to be $1 in the money. I'm bidding out here underneath 286. Once it cracks VWAP, it had a big buyer on some higher lows. Higher lows the way through. So I'm looking to cover this one as the market rips to the downside. Meta just broke 235. Hope you bet the under on that one.
I didn't bet anything. I keep missing out on those bets. I'm too focused on the trades. But yeah, those are good bets. I'm really glad that Prad and whoever, I think it was Fahad and everybody, helped us out. And shout out to Bears vs. Bulls as well.
Yeah, he's all over
with
it.
Streamlabs. Yeah, thank you so much for helping us out with all that, guys. That was good, man. I think that's added a lot to people's ability to interact with us here.
There's a way to gift points, and I'm trying to figure out how to do it. Like you can, like if you see someone makes a really cool comment, like, oh, check out this level, and we're like, oh man, that was a great shout out. Like you can actually gift them points somehow. I just don't know how to do it. I got to figure it out.
Oh yeah, don't, because it's not going to be us doing it, man. I'm not. Maybe you have time. I don't think you should be looking at. I mean, we'll look at that, but it's too much, man. I mean, I'm sitting here putting on.
Here we
trades,
go, Carvana.
So yeah. Anyways, let's go.
I just bought a dip buy into Carvana, so this could be it. I got the pack W, but I wanted this 12 off Carvana. I might go tight stop with the market doing the things that it's doing right now. So let's give it to like 11.90. It's a bit of a falling knife here, and the shorts are really printing off. I was about to show you guys NVAX because I just got another fill, so that's continuing to flush. But let's deal. When the market's flushing, you deal with the longs that are starting to come back in because it's easy to manage the shorts. I just feel this needs to be a tighter stop. I don't need this quadunking on me, and Carvana has that opportunity. So I'm going to get some out if it does get back into that 12.20, just the way this market came in there to get that fill. I like it. It has a chance to bounce without the market, but the timing of it, not necessarily what you want to see. Brendan?
I was waiting for a reaction here. It's a little bit slow, but Paramount downside right now, guys. They're going to cut 25% of their domestic cable network staff. So 25% of staff from domestic cable network. So not much of a reaction here, but oh, there it goes. Some volume coming in now.
That sounds like a lot, but it's like how big is that cut? Like how many dollars is that? Like how many people? Because Paramount, they cut the dividend. That's not necessarily a good thing. Buffett was crapping on them the other day in his, I guess, Berkshire meeting, yeah, the annual meeting there. He was sort of crapping on them a little bit. So I got one new position, but now I can go back over to NVAX. I got my stop in there on Carvana. Got a couple of take profits just in case. So we are back into 950. We reloaded that 970 level a couple of times. Now it could take out the bottom, head back into the 30s. I think this could carry to 9 even. That was the consolidation a little bit earlier. So we're going to rinse and repeat every single pop into 10. Maybe we even get that. I don't think we get 10s. Stranger things have happened. The market does want to give it up, and there's hit enter twice. There's Meta. Meta's now given up 235, headed toward VWAP, it looks like. That was the last bastion of strength in the big tech names, at least that I remember seeing. Could head down into VWAP. There might be a dip buy opportunity. We're running out of time before 3:30. Typically, you want some time for the bounce to be able to go. If it does it, get into VWAP and bounce there before 3:30. I do like the shot there. I still only want to be long on Meta, even though it broke that 235, but it has to come down and pick me up.
Yeah, we were able to get, so we're getting some out of Palantir, but we want to hold that obviously for the dream, up to 60, the dream. We'll try to take 10 whopping cents on Palantir there. But instead of 10 cents, man, we're taking 150 cents right now on Microsoft. We got a great fill down there at 60. So we just sat there, we started to see it go again, and there's another fill there at 60 for Microsoft on a huge move to the downside. So again, one trade this afternoon is really all that's necessary because there it is on that move to the downside. And the market's still not even really breaking anywhere. I mean, it's been some nice moves down, but you're only right down into where we thought this market could go. We said back into here, off of a 13.3 fail again. So there goes Microsoft to that downside. A lot of talk about Disney. So Disney, again, a name that, I don't know, like I'm long 98 and change. It's up to 102. That's pretty good so far, 5%, but we only bought this not too long ago. I'm just gonna double check. I know it's May 10th. I didn't see it on the list, so I'm gonna say it's aftermarket, but for some reason, some of these big down names will report. WBD, Warner Brothers. Oh yeah, pretty. We were just talking about that. We're talking about Paramount, but Warner Brothers Discovery. Yeah, so it's post-market. So we'll see them tomorrow after market. So one more day of Disney coming through. This scares me a bit. I didn't realize the PE was 55. I didn't buy it because of PE. I bought it because of Netflix, really. And, you know, Netflix finally turning it around on that side of things. And I know Disney, again, all right, sure, fine. They're not Netflix. They're losing money. They're losing billions of dollars, quite frankly, on their streaming service. But I just think that after you get out of the way, and people want my opinion, so I'm going to give it now. Once you get this DeSantis out of the way, not him out of the way, but the politics out of it, I think that Disney, again, you know, there's so much. We keep talking about the pent-up demand in travel. You seen RCL lately, or AAL, or some of these stocks and what they're talking about? You're going to see Airbnb come out tonight and say probably something similar to all of that. So for me, Disney, again, today, I think that they could, and I know no companies are really guiding anymore, but I feel like they'll say that they have a positive expectation for the rest of the year based on bookings and things like that. This is just from like channel checks. You guys can do your own channel checks, but I know that I have friends with money that are going to Disney and don't give two shits about what it costs, and I don't think cost has ever been a problem for Disney. When I went when I was 5, and then again at 10 or something like that, that was not, I don't come from, you
People
know,
just pay it.
Yeah,
man.
exactly. So people go to Disney because it's a thing. They're opening up many more. You know, they had that new Harry Potter. So there's people that probably haven't been since then. I could see that.
The Star
getting
Wars
through.
thing,
The
too.
Star Wars thing is huge. Orlando, this is to come still soon, but they're opening up that new Mario Brothers world in Orlando, which should be huge. It's huge in Japan, and it looks pretty cool in California there. So anyways, I just think that travel is back, and we'll wait to see what Disney can throw at everybody tomorrow. So yeah, again, new management, all the politics are there as well. That could be overhanging on them, but you know, we'll see. We bought it, and again, my out for Disney, we've talked about that. If we're going to be wrong, if somehow this breaks 90, the expectation's not going to be 15% down for Disney. I don't expect that at all. But if we break 90, then I will probably get out of half of that and then see what happens at 85. But we're going to watch out for Disney earnings. I expect it to be a beat, which is why we bought it down here at support.
Yeah, and look, I remember going to Disney.
Crystal ball.
I remember going to Disney as a kid, and it's one of those, it's like a once in a lifetime thing for most. And quite frankly, I was in Florida during spring break. Well, March break, I guess it would be, but it was spring break as well. And we talked to a lot of families that were going from spring training, and then they were going to go over to Disney, and everyone was griping about the prices and then paying it anyway. So I tend to agree with that from that aspect. I'm going to get into Upstart. Actually, it just broke 14 even. No, we have no shit. Okay, we don't have free locates on Upstart. I would have thought that's a name we have free locates on.
Quarter of a penny it will be,
Of
for
course,
sure.
Of course it will be. But what I wanted to get at is look at Upstart. They're reporting after the bell. It just got to this interesting little pivot point. So when it broke 14.20 to the downside, that's when it made that little stair step of last week, bounced off 12. Now you're back there again in front of earnings. So I'm looking for the short into 14.20. Obviously, now I have to go in and pay for locates. There's still 40 minutes left in the day, and I like the risk to reward. If the market's going to break lower, I could see something like this giving you a little bit of a risk off. It is a chance to get it off the high of the day. So I'm just going to process those locates. I don't think I want to reload Pack W into what I think is a falling market. Oh, and NVIDIA did hit the bottom, so I rang the register down there. We got about $1.25 on it, but I want to see if I can get this Upstart in time. It is going to be cheap. I know it's going to be cheap, but I just want to get it locked in. So in a couple of seconds, I'll have it, and it should still be at that 14 level, and I can grab the short off of this high of the day.
Lucid's not, yeah, nice trade on NVIDIA
Oh,
there,
it's
a
not
buck
really.
and change on NVIDIA. That's a good one. We got $1.50 on Microsoft. That's going to be a good one as well. I don't know. I see Randy up there. I don't know if he's going to be talking about anything, but right now, if he'd like to, obviously come on and talk a little bit about these EV names, but it would just be really
Well, Rivian
Lucid.
reports.
Yeah, and then we just got disaster from Lucid today. And look, it's not really moving, but Lucid's at a nice little level here of 730, where I could sort of see something happening there if we do break on Lucid there, 730. But I don't think there's enough gas in this name to get going to the upside. There's definitely no gas in their cars, but in the name either going back up right there. So we'll wait to see. I think that's a short just because of where we are. It's 323 already. As long as it's not raining out, we got to finally, We've had 4 straight events canceled for Little League, and tonight is a practice. So hopefully that does not get postponed.
The kids love the mud.
Yeah, it's not
Erin
gonna be-
had her first T-ball yesterday.
Oh, I hate mud.
It was, let's just say there's going to be a lot. Everyone was messing with laundry yesterday because the kids would dive and they were loving it. They were just mud covered, complete mess. My shoes were a wreck.
You're not coaching? You're not
well,
coaching?
I was helping out. I was helping out the coach there. So there is a head coach. His son and daughter on the team. He did it last year, and his son's playing second year. So I'll probably get involved. But for this year, I'm just kind of helping out like a couple of the other dads are. But man, was it just? It was a big, massive, ridiculous puddle in the infield. The ball goes in there. No one wants to touch it. But it's cute. I don't like it because we're all a mess afterward.
We would have canceled that practice probably.
But the kids are like, they don't care. They think mud is just, ooh, I can jump in the mud and get my uniform dirty. And the rest of us are like,
I actually, Marissa's the other way. She doesn't mind when the kids run around like crazy, and she's the one doing the laundry, so good on her. But I hate it.
Good
man.
for her,
I hate
man,
it.
because
I hate it. Right now, something that reports tomorrow is going to be Win. We took it short there on the 50 period, right about 12 o'clock, and unfortunately it just kept on going up. And the reason why we took this short, I like this trade. I'm down for losing on this trade, honestly. Took it right there at 11.80, 12 bucks or so. Got out when it broke a little bit higher through 12.25. Gave this one 25 cents. It looks like we got out at a decent spot, but instead of 25, it looks like 50 was the resistance spot there on Win. Nice move in the morning. Nice move back up there on Win. So now we can have a check on this right now. 112.40 for Win, coming out with a report later on today. And again, Macau, nicely done up to the upside here for Win. Well up, man, 60-70% from those bottoms. Even just up, this was $65 in November, and you doubled up. Well, almost. You got to 120 there, so you got about 80% up on Win. And right now, hovering around this 50 period.
do you have the last earnings on that one?
No, but I have.
Pudu.
I called them up on.
No, only if you had it. It's not a big,
No,
it's not a
on-
huge deal. But.
No. I marked them down here on, like, look, e-signal, properties. What?
That's huge. I love that.
I know, but it still doesn't work. I don't know why. That's what I was going to show you.
Wow, e-signal.
I have it marked up there. I got to talk to ICE about this.
What?
Right there, yeah. It's earnings.
Come on, son.
So labels, earnings, should be here. Apply to
Fail.
current page. Maybe that's what I got to do. Still fail. But anyways, yeah, it doesn't matter. Their last earnings would have been here in February, so nicely done to the upside right now. So we can watch out for Win. We have that Market Chameleon page actually that I can get up there soon. Maybe I have to log out and back in for that to reload, but that's funny because, oh, you know why? I logged out and back into eSignal from that other spot over there. Because that doesn't screw. No, but that's why it didn't save, because I had it marked down for, what was that one stock? I'm going to look at Market Chameleon.
Rivian, maybe?
Oh, it was Rivian earnings.
I would say probably Rivian, I think.
So here's the page that Sharif showed me. And you can just go, yeah, there it is right here, Rivian. So you can see last time what happened. But this is going to be before market open, I believe. So you got to go to May 10th and load this up as I click on this and nothing happens. So, okay, maybe it's not market. I must be logged into access date selection feature. Okay, so I won't do that live because remember when Brad did that, everyone started, oh, here it is right here, Win. Oh, no, it is aftermarket.
He signed up for it and everyone got his email address.
Exactly. So it is aftermarket. So if you can see here, let's just see what happened last earnings report. So now that I can see Win on here, let's see what these headings are now. So previous move for Win, up 5%. I can't hover over as it shows it, but there's Win right there. You can see 5% right there, their last report. So we'll see expected move.
Rivian's the big
again.
one.
Yeah, Rivian's the one at the very bottom there. 18, down 18% last earnings report, Rivian.
And expected move 15%. Rivian is going to be a big one. I'm going to slap the fail on, well, it was the last one we got in, obviously, was Carvana there. So let's just go back over it. I elected to go with the tight stop as the market came back in there. Do not want to fight it. I know there's support down here at 11.50, but I'm not holding that for 50 cents against me at 3.30. Forget about that. We got the new short on, and we'll just roll with that. As I said, we're still in NVAX as it rolls to the downside. We just jumped into Upstart as they're reporting aftermarket tonight. Just very quickly on said Rivian, obviously a lot of names have had bad days. Rivian isn't one of them. Rivian's up on the day and actually holding near the highs. It did make a big move to the downside at the open and then got right back to the 50 period. So it's holding on to some strength here up at this double top of 15. Man, this is almost exactly the same setup as as Upstart right now. Short 14, give it to 14.10. Upstart's more like 14.20. But I wouldn't pay for locates on both of them. Just take one, not the other. DWAC is still, oh, it already came back. Never mind. Okay, so yeah, stick a fork in that one. Forget about the idea of shorting DWAC if it gets to 15. It's already pulling back in toward $13. I thought there might have been something there if it could have continued higher, but obviously that's not going to happen on DWAC. As I said, I just got into Upstart. I started at 96. I did want it at 14 even, so I am looking to add to that position if it gets back to or above 14, and then play it back in. First to this 85 and then 75, and then we'll see about VWAP a little later. PACW, just like the other long we just had over there in NVAX, I'm not going to reload it. It did give me that first fill, but I don't feel like going to the well again with the market looking weak going into the close.
I am once again a Palantir investor. So here we go right now on the hat because, hello.
Awesome.
Pay for the hat. Nice little move to the upside right there, 950 straight up. We talked about buying it. You know, some plays don't need to be hard, man. I mean, I just need to stick with what we do best and just stay in your lane. And we always talk about that. You know, we talked about buying it against that level. This is the funny thing. And when it works out, it's great. It's just, remember the amount of risk that we were taking on this position, 51.50. We were out at 49. It's 2.5 cents worth of risk. So it's 7-1 right now on the upside. So we'll take a piece out, which is why we don't have much left. I told you at 60 we'd get out a lot of that because at that point it was 4-1. It's pretty good. And not only was it 4-1, but it was also at the high of the day. So now that you're extending out a little bit more, I mean, can we just take a piece out all the way up? Let's wait for 69ers. We'll take a 66 and we'll wait for 69 as well. Everything is all good over on this side as well with Soft. There we go. We just got a 66 as soon as we flipped it over. Everything's good with Softy, but Softy's looking at that 50 period right now. We have some great outs. We have the bottom of the move on Softy. It's not the bottom of the day. It's close. 306.60. So there it is. Change of control here. Actually, I already have an order to get out, but it's too many shares. I got to change that because now we got out of more. So here it is, man, 307.06. I have to put this order out to get out because now I don't, obviously Neil and I have talked about not trusting the stop orders. So I'm going to manually put a stop order in right now and get this out at 307 once we break this 50 period. And the reason why I had to change my stop, the amount of shares, is because 1, 2, 3, we got out. On the way down here. So we got some good outs. So now we change the amount of shares because I don't have that many shares left as I was going to get out in the first place. So hopefully that move can happen for us for Microsoft. And if it does, we're going to get a piece out at 307.05 when and if it does break that. But everyone, what's up, Maz? Yeah, you're right, man. Everybody get on Palantir. I said this could be sort of a meme name again, and I wouldn't be surprised if it does get going on that. Just very similar to the way AMD did on that news. AMD just took off, and it's been pretty violent ever since. So, you know, AMD the last couple of days, huge moves back and forth on AMD. You know, obviously it just had earnings and the Microsoft news, plus it's hot in the space as well. I'm excited for Google tomorrow. It's Google AI Day. I think it's a development conference or something like that. So we're going to have to wait to see that. And I think AMD could also be a mover with Google tomorrow as well. What's up, Brendo?
David Portnoy just tweeting, guys, that he bought 2 million shares of Penn yesterday and, quote unquote, already owns a ton of it. So that just happened.
Aren't they the majority shareholders?
Of course he owns a ton of it. That's
Penn and Barstool?
Yeah. Well, I mean, yes.
I don't know enough about
how many shares did he say was there? What was the dollar value?
$1 million?
A mil. So
$2 worth or
2 million shares. Okay, so $50 million bucks. Well, I mean, I don't know where the heck was it yesterday.
$50 million.
50 mil he put into it. Yeah, he got 25s. It's making a bit of a. Okay.
How come I don't have $50 million? Like what?
Okay, Dave Portnoy. And it's gonna run on that. Interesting. Well, I mean, it's technical break at 26 even. Let's go back to Brendan. By the way, I just bought the dip in.
That should be illegal.
In front of 34 on Meta, but let's go to Brendan. Maybe there's an update on that.
You would think it is notional, guys. So notional value, 2 million in Penn stock. So a little different.
Okay.
I'll get my sticky note back.
Okay, but no, because obviously there's a big difference between $2 million and $50 million worth.
No difference.
Yeah, no, I just in my head I was like, whoa, okay.
Me too. I'm like 50 million.
Holla at your boy.
What is this guy doing?
David A. Trader. Yeah, big difference there. So still same technical break above 26. I mean, would have been impressive if it was that much. Clearly buying the dip, as they say yesterday. I'm not chasing this move on that news. Not at 335. Early looking balances was nothing, 123 million to the buy side, but yeah, that's not a move that I want to chase this late in the day. As I mentioned there, like very, very briefly, we talked about this when it broke 235. I didn't short Meta at 235, wait for it to get to VWAP. It got to VWAP. It's trying to make the bounce now. I am in it. Let's see if it can hold. The market, by the way, held the bottom, believe it or not. I guess we can believe that.
I believe it, yeah.
Because on these days, like, you just believe it when the market doesn't break the range, right? Market didn't break the range today. Oh wow, I'm shocked. We didn't break away from 13.3 and we didn't break 13.25. So just more of the same, where we kind of go inside. And if we're going inside, look for support and resistance. Meta back into VWAP after a downward turn. Goodness, I got to zoom in there so you can see. So it bounced first off 34, and I got in on the bounce. I'll look to add to it, kind of give it into VWAP there. Still have the same 2 shorts on as before. NVAX I have not reloaded because it's bouncing off 50, but I haven't reloaded because I've been taking 70s and above on Novavax.
All right, you guys know that we rang the register pretty much of all the shares there on Palantir right now. We just got some more out at 63.50 there. We got the half print on Arca, I believe it was there. But yeah, so nice move to the downside here for, not nice, but a move down back into 60 there with a wick down to 62. But again, more outs up here at the top for Palantir, very, very light on that position. And then, of course, Microsoft coming in there. We talked a little bit about Win. Let's check out the banks, man. We haven't talked too much about the regional banks, so let's go over there. They were starting to pick up with me and Sharif there on the midday. Yeah, right there. So they were starting to go up to 650, up 5%. So that's nice. For Pac West there, it looks like 628 could get held. Looking at I don't have any trade. You don't have any trades, I don't think, today either on those. So.
I have.
You have?
I've scalped it off the high, but I was in it late. Like, I took it on the break of the high of yesterday, and then I just bought the dip here at 30. I got some out at 42, and I'm not reloading it because, quite frankly, it's not really doing it. The volume's dead. So there's no point reloading this when the volume's not there.
Ronnie in the chat talking about PayPal putting him back on rice and beans. We actually had rice. Well, we had rice and peas here today, although it's of course
I love rice and
with our caterer. Oh,
and it was Jamaican beef patties today.
Oh my God.
That was.
It was not chicken.
Well.
Oh my God.
No, but
there was.
But we ate chicken.
We did. Forget about what we did. I'm saying, but the main one there
was
not chicken, but we had chicken. That's correct. But there's many days that we didn't have chicken, so we don't. That's what I'm saying. But
yeah, but that just means that we got the leftover chicken that.
I know what it means. I didn't eat my chicken, so I know what it means. But
I gotta have the protein.
Yeah, didn't to me it didn't look great, so I chucked it. But yeah. So anyways, it was Jamaican beef
prison food
patties today, so that was really fun. Going through. Oh, by the way, here. You guys ready? Here's me throwing the keyboard. So this is the infamous keyboard toss right now, so everybody please pay attention. It's not even that good. I got to listen to the sound afterwards, but here's Sharif. There's me. See ya. And it actually drops down about, look at Sharif's face there. He's like, what just happened? Right there, he's looking down. And it actually falls down, and then you can experience.
But what people don't know is that with falling down, like we're elevated off the trading floor.
That's what I was going to say. There's quite the dip.
There's like an extra drop beneath us.
You know, that's why when people stay in there, they're like when Randy comes, he's to here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's because there's, I don't know, call it like a foot and a half, 2 feet.
Needless to say, no longer existing.
She gone.
A couple keys got smashed there, and again, that's fine. It was fun, and that's what that was. Yeah, that's what I said. Exactly, ACK. I said that to Neil. I said it was a mic drop. It was just keyboard drop, and that's the example that I gave.
We can turn that into a graphic.
Ooh, yes, we should. I don't know if there must be a crashing sound on that because my mic probably would have picked it up.
If the mics didn't pick that up, then I don't know. Like, of course they.
I'm not sure about the quality of the mics.
100%.
Right there. Yes. What's up, Soze? Yes, the calmest trader. I actually was calm at that point. I was just saying I'm getting rid of this. I just didn't want that anymore. I was already.
Wait till that printer dies, then we'll see what's up.
I'll be okay with the printer.
No, office space.
Frustrated.
I want an office space.
Oh, yes.
I've always wanted an office space, a printer.
Go to those.
I know they have those smash it room things.
Disaster zones, whatever
but
the hell they're called.
Yeah, but we have one right there. I own a baseball bat. I mean, there's fields everywhere.
Really, you own a baseball bat?
Shocker, right? Like I own a few.
I own like 15 baseball bats.
Too many of those bad boys.
Yeah. No, what are those? No, it's bothering me what those
I know what you mean.
rooms are called. Something room.
It's a Wreck-It room, disaster room.
Someone's gonna
I don't know
say
what you
it.
guys
Pen.
call it.
Okay, let's go over to Pen and have a quick
It's
look.
probably still going.
Yeah, it shouldn't though. That's a joke.
It's probably going to dip. This is probably a short, to be honest with you. It's where to
Let me just
go.
let this load up here. I just hit escape on
Yeah,
something
27
by
is probably a
accident.
short.
I
We
don't know what I
probably
just
don't have
did
free
there.
locates on it. Let's see.
Yeah, there's Pen up to 2660. I don't know why my daily, none of my charts are loading. Oh, here we go. Now Pen's going to load up for us one more time here, and we'll have a quick look to see what exactly Pen is doing.
Stress room, that's what it's called. It's not a panic, it's a stress room.
Panic room.
No, stress room.
Stress
Yeah,
room.
because you
Okay.
release stress by breaking shit.
Okay.
That's right. I'm 99% sure it's called a stress room, or break
Frustration
room,
room.
frustration room, whatever.
Panic room. I think
Sometimes
panic room is what
sometimes
it's
you just
called.
want to break stuff, man. The other day I had to get out like
Empty warehouse. Hulk smash. Yeah.
I'd take an axe to like a root, like a tree root that was in our backyard.
Yes, that's always fun.
And like honestly, like it was a lot of fun. Like it's not easy, it wasn't easy work, but it was a shit ton of fun, man. I'll tell you that much. Get an axe. There's nothing wrong with that. Like
Yeah, 2 million worth
On
of
the right
Pen
thing.
yesterday.
yeah, 2 million yesterday, and it's gonna go up how much today?
I am not a financial expert, he said on his tweet. You don't have to be a financial expert when you could just tweet it out and get 2 or 3% on your money off of a tweet there that you owned it. I mean, I think it should probably be illegal to do that, but again, I don't know his standing with Penn or even Barstool at this point anymore, because there was those deals, so there might have been something in that deal allowing him to trade the name. I don't know. So
Yeah,
I'm
you
not,
know what? I don't know
I don't
either.
want to sit here and be like, that's not allowed.
I don't know either, so I'm not gonna say anything.
But you could be a director of a company and
course
say
you
that
can.
I mean, we talked about
But
Anthony Noto buying 30,000. I mean, do the math. 30,000 shares of SoFi
hold on, like
times $6.
But there's a process for CEOs.
That's only 180,000.
You know, like you have to declare within X
Yeah.
amount of time. When you sell, you have to give notice. Like it's just there's
So
rules
he might have
around
done that. I mean, he bought it yesterday. He
yeah, he
declared
might
it. I
have,
think
man.
that's fine
He
now.
really
Now
might
that I
have.
think about it.
It's probably okay. And I'm sure he's a
pretty
smart
sure it
enough.
is okay.
He's a smart enough dude. I'm sure he did. So I did not remember. It said I'm not going to reload Pack W because it wasn't doing anything. There's your flat bottom break. So you want to stay up on it. Then kind of take you out when it gives it to you, and then when it breaks down, just get the heck out of Dodge. I was able to get some. I remember I was talking about getting a little more upstart if it broke 14. Well, it popped up, got to 14 and change. Was able to improve my price to 14, but it is 340. Last I checked, that's getting a little bit late in the tooth. So let's get a little bit more aggressive getting out. Because once it hits 350, I'm in exit mode. So it might not get the breakdown that I wanted, but I did want some fills a little bit tighter to the top there. UPST Upstart reports aftermarket today. I don't know what time that is, but it is strong into that move. So back underneath 14. I'm going to be bidding it all the way out into that 75 zone. We'll see if we can get it. NVAX might be running out of time for a reload here. It is in that pocket. I'll elect not to reload this. It only went 970 to like 930, and in the grand context, this is a stock with a $4 range today. So yes, normally that's a pretty good move, but given the context of how much it moved, it didn't exactly fall apart when it broke 10. So I'll just trail out of this one. If it breaks 985, we'll get out of Dodge. I don't want to risk more than like the 15 cents. I won't give it all the way to 10 because there's not enough time for the risk to reward to work in the other direction. So Upstart starting to work into that downside. It looks like we might give up VWAP on Meta. If that happens, we're just going to get out. We got that little consolidation. Want to see it hold. Be nice if it held to 350, but if it doesn't, then I'll just get out. 350 is a nice line in the sand, but it doesn't mean I'm holding it to that time no matter what.
I would have thought Google would have been up today, to be honest with you. It's not. It's down
disappointing.
0.5% right now. But the name that is really moving to the downside here is Microsoft. It's just continuing to go, man. You are now near or maybe at day's low. Taking out the day's low, we took out that low. That was that number, 62. That's where we're at right now. We're actually at 50 and starting to go lower. So we're actually it just bounced off this pre-market bottom right there of 9. It's not, I don't think it's going to stay here. I think it's going to go lower. So right now we're at $1.70 in the for Microsoft. So we only it's been a pretty light trade here this afternoon as I look over at my blotter and try to figure out which trades we've talked about and we've given to you. So far it's been Microsoft. I mean, that one is
oh my God.
a good one right there. We'll hit the sirens for Microsoft. I mean, $1.80 in the money, and this was put on rate live. We talked about these trades live as they happened. So that's going to be a good one there. And then, of course, I don't have to tell everybody about Palantir. We just put this one on. So 2 trades there in the hour between 2 to 3. Nothing yet here as it's 343 right now. All we're sort of doing is letting these names go back up. And now that I see this, where Palantir is, I do not want to avoid this and make sure that we do get out. Softy again to 306.40, just making a move down here. That I mean, how many shares? Let's let this imbalance come through. It's 123 million to buy, Brendan said, so that's going to be a nothing burger. There it is. Just get that fill there on Palantir. 67 is going to break. We get an end print. We talked about using ends for get a little bit of a rebate, and an N would be the New York book. So that prints with big block trades. So I've just been noticing that. To get out of a couple hundred shares here or there, it's pretty easy to do that okay, now you're going to see 70. Okay, right here on Palantir. All right, let's go to 74. I always wait around the quarters. We'll go to 74, see if we get that wow for Palantir. That was a good move right there. JP Morgan, we talked about Wells Fargo taking out the day's high there. Did it do that? Let's have it. No, it does not. So that was going to have been, wait a second. Why did we like that trade? Where was it when we talked about this? I think it did take it out. I think it was on this move there, and we were talking about this level, 40s. Yeah, so that was a good level there. What time was this? 2 o'clock? Nah. No, I feel like maybe we're looking at this high. I don't know. Anyways, Wells Fargo on a nice move to the upside there, turning green, and 39 is the short that we like. So we'll wait to see about Wells Fargo. Oh, it was BAC earlier. Wasn't it $28 early on in the day?
That makes some more sense.
That we talked about. 28, yeah, that was right up here, yeah, so that didn't get there. So right now, WFC, nice move up for Bank of America and WFC, and then JP Morgan.
A little weaker, but.
Little bit weaker, but trying to get back to green, 137 break as well. Could be something on JP Morgan.
Yeah, so I saw Tony Price. He's like, "Oh, I hate Meta," but I don't think you can. Like, to me, the way I see it off that 234 VWAP, whatever you call it, if the bounce works, and again, I'm gonna have my stop out there pretty much every time. It is also about 350. You're running out of time for it to make that move. But to me, like, even if it doesn't go all the way, risk 30 pennies for at least. It has a 50. Like, even if it doesn't go to the high, that's still $1 from there. You can have 70, 80 cents there. If you take half of that, your risk reward's pretty good. I'm going to have a tight stop this time of day, and in fact, it's probably still a chance to work. I just don't feel like I want to hang on to it when it made that bit of a breakdown, but I'll take that shot every single time. It's been a strong stock. We'll take that every single time, and it's just about taking positive expectancies when they're there for you, understanding that, if you go like 2 for 3 on Meta, going only long on a day like today, then you're going to end up doing pretty solid. I did not reload NVAX. I'm just going to get on the bid here. If it gets back underneath 50, I'm just going to get on the bid and get out. This is my 15-minute chart. Why did I go to my 15? It was something else I was going to look at. I feel like it was JPM. You were talking about the banks. Oh, I know why. Because you had mentioned the banks, and JP Morgan, I don't know if it gets there, but oh goodness, this wick. I don't know if it gets there, but if it showed any more strength, JP at about, it's right here, like 138, this 138 level where it rejected yesterday. If it gets back up to that price, I think things get pretty juicy. Not enough strength for it to carry through there. You just saw Wells Fargo not quite get to the level BAC did. JP Morgan about $1 away from serious resistance. I just feel like that's the kind of level you can fade. I'm still in Upstart. It's now broken through 90s. Why am I not bidding 82 or 81? That's stupid. So anyways, I just put the bid in there now, so we'll ring the register on the way back down. We did get some fills above 14, so I don't think it fills in the entire gap because there's only like 10 minutes to go in the day, so that's pretty unlikely that it will. But yeah, if it can get back down to the previous high, that's 1370. I'll be happy to take 14 down into said 1370 area on Upstart. It reports aftermarket. Where are we at in the daily? Oh, this one has room to go, man. The 50 period sits at 1520. I guess my 200's not loading up. Low PC load letter. This has a lot of room to go upside on Upstart. Pun not intended. What is the short interest on Upstart? I know it's not that oh, there we go. Yeah, 36%. This is on the please go up list tomorrow, because it's more exciting if a 36% short has good earnings than if it has bad earnings, quite frankly. It's not to say that we hate hedge funds that short things. I just happen to think there's more upside if this breaks out. That's why I wanted that Carvana long to work so much the last couple of days. Upstart could do the same. I'm just fading it off to 14 level, big level on the daily, and maybe it doesn't even get to VWAP here.
Thank you so much. I mean, I'm just going to, there's been a lot of love here on the chat, and I don't know why, but I just want to thank everybody for that one. We did get out the majority of our Palantir. We're holding less than 10% of our Palantir there. But what's up to Lilia Nene here? You don't owe everything to us. We owe everything to you guys. So thank you so much for supporting the show once again, to everybody that's out there supporting us, regardless of how you are, hitting the like button, just participating in the chat, stuff like that. Ola, someone wanted me to say Ola to you, so Ola to you, Michelle. I saw that there. What's up to Will Evans as well? I love these guys. I'm going to retire watching us. Okay. Hopefully we can all retire very, very soon. What's up, T Daddy? Thank you so much for those nice comments there. Great show again. Ola, Ola, Ola. But
Ola,
that's the
like
one.
and subscribe today.
I don't know how loud our mics are.
Canadian
I was going to say to Neil, I don't know how loud our mics are when that goes on.
That's true.
Do our mics cover that volume, Fahad? When we do the Ola, can they hear us still
Do you
talking?
mute the mics?
They can't hear us. Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
You don't need to mute us. I just wanted to know. So
I thought like it mutes if we do that, but I guess it doesn't.
yeah, that's why. If we say, let's do it again so we can hear Kat.
Ola, like and subscribe today.
All right, there it is. So
That's the
that's
one.
good, man. Yeah, hit that Ola, hit that Ola, hit that like right
there
there.
she is.
Fahad's actually teaching Katrine a few new tricks of the trade over there. So
I was like, where is Katrine? But
she gone.
she's right there.
Yeah, she's right there. Oh shoot! The market on close imbalances
Just curse
hit.
next time.
Literally just hit. So yeah, let's watch out.
Intel to
Yeah, it does a buy.
that'll
okay.
pair off. That'll
$30. Oh no, get it.
That'll
Well,
pair off.
I mean, whatever. I got some out at 32. We talked about that. I still like Intel though.
PCG.
Pfizer with a buy again.
Wait a
on
minute,
there.
TLT.
Apple with a sell, huh? All right, let's have a quick look on Apple. Not doing anything. Normally, when Apple comes as a sell, right there. Let me see what does Brendan have?
Why the hell
Wow,
would TLT have
800 to sell.
That's not nothing.
That's not nothing. So that's 800 million. Sorry, I should say, to sell Intel, AT&T. What I have Kraft Heinz, KHC, that's not really a big mover ever. So we don't, yeah, well, not doing anything there. Apple is the strange one to me. Normally when we get Apple as a sell, it does a little bit more than just wick the top and wick the bottom like that. So we'll have to wait to see. Already paired off 2 million shares. So that means that in total there was about 2.8 million. There it is, pairing off as we speak, 2.8 million. So someone put an order to sell for 2.8 million or a combination, and then it just started getting paired off. So that's how you get that number. Uber with a buy, don't think there's any surprise there. I really like Uber. Even on a pullback today is probably worth buying. But we have that number tomorrow. We talked about that with Frank Caberna. So yeah, that's the imbalances for today.
So I don't know if there's anything to read in it, but the 20-year Treasury ETF has a sell imbalance on of 1 million. You don't see that every single day. Maybe it means something, maybe it doesn't. That's TLT here. It didn't move, so I kind of went to look over to see if it made a move. Absolutely nothing happening. But it is weird. I'm not going to read anything into it because it's not as if the last time or I've ever observed that before major economic number or Fed day that I've seen an imbalance on it. I can't even think of the last time I did. I'm only in 2 positions. One I reloaded, one I did not. So if Upstart gets any further down, fair enough. If it gets back above 14, I will now tighten the stop because it is literally the end of the day. Novavax, I know I'm sitting on the bid here at about 940. There's a small bid at 950. I might get in front of that one if I have to. We'll see what happens. Yeah, it's Lone Sophos. It is a head scratcher. Like usually you see all the same names are on that imbalance list, and if something pops up, there's usually something to it. Like a random name might have like a like a share offering, or it's going from one index to another. There's something along those lines. But to see TLT there is just a little bit weird. I don't know. I really don't know what else to say about that. DWAC. I just wanted to check
It's
back
just a way
in.
to get the fill
I guess so, but.
with no market impact, I guess.
Yeah, it's exactly what you're trying to do every single time. It's just not the name. I don't remember ever seeing one of those ETFs on there is also. I'm going to pay attention just to see if it sticks around at the end of the day and then see what happens, just out of my own morbid curiosity. Anytime I see something new in the market, I kind of want to check it out. Can I learn something off it? Can I not? Maybe it's nothing, because it's probably nothing. 9 times out of 10, it's nothing. But the one time it is, like, remember, what the hell was it that, was it Rivian? In the first week of trading had that crazy imbalance, and we never see that on. There was some kind of an IPO that had that had a huge imbalance, and you never see that happen on a recent IPO, and then it ended up being a really good trade when it stayed at 355.
Was it Mobileye?
I don't remember what it is. You were trading it.
Oh.
Or you pointed it out. Either way, it doesn't matter.
yeah.
You almost never see IPOs or things that have only traded for a few months have large imbalances. This one did. It stuck around instead of pairing off, and there was a trade to be had. So I'll see what happens to this at 355.
All right, good.
Maybe it was Mobileye. It might have been.
Yeah, it could have been Mobileye. Definitely not Kenview. We would have remembered that. That was only last week. I do have a good memory, but not the greatest.
KVU.
All right. Okay, we're still on Uber. We're just getting out. Oh, what?
Uber.
Okay, sorry. I was going to say, how did I get out of Microsoft? But because I put a real low bid down there, I was like, did that just fill? I thought Microsoft was going up. But it did take 307, so we did get a piece out. We talked about that. Now we have a very small piece left for Microsoft as it going up to the upside right now, breaking out. We're out. We have like, it's like 1% left or something of Microsoft, so I'm not worried about it. Palantir, we got out. There it is. We actually had an offer still up here, so there we go. We are out, and it left a little small piece there for Palantir, so let's get out on that one. We'll just punch it. Oh, of course, we get a okay, well, I was going to say, what the hell? We might have got 58s there. I thought I was punching 57s, 58, okay. So 58 out, not the greatest out right there, but we got an out at 58 on that. But again, most of the outs were actually at 60. 65 good, 67 or 68 was my best out. So that was a good trade for me there on Palantir, and good on the reload. And then
Start how you finish, or finish how you start.
Yeah, exactly. And then we'll wait for Microsoft to see if it comes back down in. It's funny though, the only losing trades we had on Palantir was when we tried to get cute with that high of the day short right there, and then the keyboard gate happened, and then it was a bad trade anyways. It doesn't matter. You know what? Like when we look at this, when I'm going short here at 60s, like honestly, sure there would have been some covers at 50, but you know it blew out the top anyways. So getting out at 62 there, so that's what that was.
It was a good level because it's still look at it. If you look at it again later, it was still the same level that it stopped at. And then it exploded through it the other time.
Yeah,
there.
right there.
Yeah, right there. So each time it was a key level.
We'll try to see 960 tomorrow for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So I just got out of NVAX. I'm out at 950. Oh. I still have a piece of Upstart, but that's starting to slow down as well. As we go to Brennan at the desk, I guess we have the earnings for tomorrow. We're not. You have to go to the desk.
I mean, I like Airbnb.
Yeah, they're. I actually missed Win because you were talking about Win. I was like, oh, I don't think I saw Win on there. So yeah, Win. There's a lot of names that are tradable type names, squeezable names. I don't mean that way. I mean in the short squeeze. Affirm is Upstart, 36%. Affirm, not as big. Virgin Galactic, maybe not as big a short interest as it used to be before, but that can definitely be a mover. Rivian and Li Auto. You saw what happened to the EV names today. Rivian with it's the expected move of 18%, I think it was, which is pretty gigantic. So you know we're going to be trading that one to be sure. At least looking for trades. You don't want to force it, but you want to be looking for trades where there's movement. And I expect Rivian's not going to have a sideways day tomorrow. At least I hope not.
No. Okay, we're out of everything there. We got in another 307 fill on Microsoft for $1.20, so that was a good one. To end the day, it's 356 right now. I'm just looking at Airbnb. I'm actually surprised. I'm not in this name. I was going to wait for earnings anyways, but it's already, I don't know. I like the name, but I was talking about it just the other day when it was down here at 115 or so, or at least at the 50 period. You're now up $10 from that spot alone. It was a great day yesterday for Airbnb. We didn't take that into consideration. And then now it's run up again for this name. So I'm going to try to just zoom out a little bit there, as this is, for me, one of the most interesting names. I mean, there's a lot of names going to be tomorrow, but we already saw Rivian and Fisker. Just those are great names. We'll probably short whatever Rivian does off the open. But yeah, 130. I mean, great up to 145. You have that little tick again from February earnings report. So there's a nice move all the way to the upside. Look to take out 145. I like the name, but I honestly thought we were closer to down into here, 110, 115. So nice move up for sure. Let's see what happens with Airbnb. I still think it's going to be a nice guide for it if they're still doing that. And I can't speak much for the quarter they just had, but it looks like whoever knew something definitely didn't send this thing down. So nice move up, came back in, bumped off the 200, and now upside move for Airbnb. So I like that. And I thought I saw Oxy on there as well.
Oxy's there yet.
That should be interesting, and we'll hear if they have anything to say about Warren Buffett and his potential buy up to 50%. He said no, so we'll wait to see what happens with Occidental.
Yeah, I just got my last trade there. So Upstart it got back to 14. We're able to get some out on the way to the downside. They also report, by the way. I got 80s was the best fill, but once it got back above 14, I'm not going to hold it all the way back in. So we did get that nice little wick. These guys are also a short squeeze potential, so we're hoping. I mean, again, I'm not going to predict which way it's going to go for them. You're down this much for a reason, obviously, but 36% short interest, and you're beneath the 50 and the 200 with a double bottom on the daily at 12 even. That gives you something to bounce off. Even if it comes to the downside, $12, if $12 were to hold, it gives you a little something to work with. Obviously, if you get a flat bottom break, it could get pretty ugly. We got just about a minute to go. I've seen multiple references to Beyond Meat in the last 5 minutes, despite the fact they're not reporting. Are they reporting?
Yeah.
Okay, so Beyond Meat is reporting. I was about to say, like...
Well, they're reporting either today or tomorrow. I don't know if it's...
Okay, I'll double check here because short interest, that's a big one.
I already
No,
have
they're
it.
tomorrow.
Yep.
Yeah, they're tomorrow after market. That's a big short interest name, but again, more exciting tomorrow. Beyond Meat has been trending to the downside, but a lot of things have been trending to the downside. Yeah, that's looking a lot like the Upstart chart was, although Upstart's making a bit of a bounce. Beyond Meat could be single digits, but if they hold it, we always prefer if we get a breakout to the upside on a squeezable name. There's a lot of things that are over 30% short that are reporting this week. This is like the earnings week of beaten up short sell type names.
That's too funny about what Anthony Kerr just said there.
Where is it?
Maybe they'll release Beyond Vegetables, and it'll be like broccoli that tastes like steak. I think that's a good one. So
I am 100% down. I hate broccoli.
I got to say awesome to that one. That was a good one there, if they're able to do that.
That's just like a cheat code. Oh, here we go. It is already 5, 4, 3, 2, and ring it, cat. In the old school Batman t-shirt, which I love, by the way. I'm a fan.
All right. Yeah, some vintage clothing
Vintage.
there. All right. So what? What was Meta? Wasn't that? What was that bet? Meta over or
I
under?
think it was under.
Well,
It's
it's way
235, so it's way under. Way under.
So hopefully some people did that. Yes, I guess that's an adios. You are right. If that was an Ola to begin with, now it is an adios. So you are right there in the chat. What's up for profit? Oh wow, busy day today, man. I'm exhausted. I got to go run a practice, and it should be big day. It should be fun. I like playing ball, so we'll see that coming up right now. Meta, yeah, nice move to the downside. Alibaba today, Roblox. We didn't talk too much about that. Win, SoFi. Okay, lots of movements. I traded way too many names today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 names. Ugh, too many there. But let's go over to Brendan at the desk and see what's up.
Pretty red to end things off here so far today. We are expecting, just be aware, we are expecting a debt ceiling debate that's happening right now or meeting in the Oval Office at the White House. I was just hearing. So we could get some comments here after the close that could affect the overall market. But 0.5% for the S&P. The Russell, all three of them red. NASDAQ Composite and 100 as we saw most of the day leading the way. 0.63, 0.68 for each.
Yes, sir. And yeah, we didn't really talk too much about the crypto names, which is weird. I thought about that at the end of the day. Guess what got to $60 and we didn't look at it?
Coin.
Yeah. And it pulled back off 62.
Only because I know, because we always talk about
We always
60.
talk about it. 60 levels a good short on coin. It really is.
Yeah,
Well, it has
I
been.
wanted to see if Airbnb came out quickly here, but I don't.
Nothing yet. I don't.
No, nothing yet right now. As I look at the hot list, nothing popping off. So, okay, actually, let me just check out. I just want to see if PayPal ended on its lows or not, just quickly here. Yes, it did. $66. Wow. Okay, PayPal just continued its move down there, and a nice move it was, with a lot of volume there at the end of the day. Wow, really picking up at the end of the day from 3 o'clock and on. Ooh. This was a big power hour for PayPal once it broke 6. Oh, that's too bad. Didn't notice that. Broke 6. It didn't move much off a 66 break, but a lot of volume. So let's, again, we'll write down some notes here into the close and make sure we watch that PayPal level tomorrow of 66 if it's still there. Again, Airbnb drop. I don't. Oh, maybe it is out. It just did. It is doing some volume right now. Airbnb.
Yeah. I mean,
not really. It's out for sure, but it's right back to flat right now for Airbnb. You could see it did tick down to 119.
Yeah, that looks real.
This is why playing those, and I remember when Sharif was playing it, I turned around and was like, what are you doing, bro? It was never really successful there into the close. It's very hard. I mean, if you get it early, great. But like if you get it in here and it retraces all the way back, look, you're using light shares. I don't want to discount anybody trading this, throughout, because if you have a strategy that works, keep doing it. That's for sure. It's very, very dangerous to trade.
If you can automate something fast enough to get in tight enough to that first break, then I could see that. Because if you can get tight into that move, then your risk reward can be there. But it's like the algos are chewing the crap out of that. Like maybe that's something that worked a long time ago, but I don't think you can do that anymore.
Yeah, we'll wait on the numbers and we'll get that too. I wouldn't mind Airbnb coming to the downside. So if that does happen there, then I wouldn't mind buying some.
Gets cheaper
Yep,
valuation
exactly.
to buy.
Win is also out right now. And again, this is the algo. Look, 110 to 115. $10 range there, 10% range there on win. We'll see. It looks like it's going to be a better number. Revenue's better, 142 versus 138. Okay, and resuming dividend, yes. So that's great news for me. We're in win. All right, thank you for joining us. It's 4:04 again. We're back tomorrow at 8:30. I want to give a big shout out to Frank Caberna. Thank you so much for joining us again today, as he's been doing a lot recently with all those economic numbers coming through there. Thanks to everybody helping on the side. Thanks to Rob for running there with that keyboard that is now over there. So hopefully you'll be there testing it tomorrow, the first one. I assume it does work. But Bears versus Bulls, thanks Brendan, thanks Sharif, who's not here. But yeah, what a good day that was. Lots of news, Brendan, today.
Yeah, a ton. Just saying, guys, it looks like the forecast is the issue with Airbnb.
Usually.
Ooh, I thought they would Airbnb. I thought they'd forecast.
It was in line. Yeah, the forecast was just in line. So.
Right, so guys like me thinking it's going to get beat on that expectation. It's down to 116 right now for Airbnb. So, all right, we'll be trading that tomorrow for sure. For Neil, Brendan, I'm Sean, and we'll catch you on the flip side. See ya.